through then.
Please don't blue screen. I'm begging you, don't blue screen. Not now. You've been working all day.
Right, we're through to Twitch. So we're through to YouTube.
Begging you, don't.
Twitch is nothing coming through as of yet.
Says it's sending data online. Sending data online.
I've had this before, actually. I've noticed recently with Twitch. There we go. What I've noticed with Twitch lately is that you have to refresh it before it shows it.
Is it still going? Because it says
it's come through now.
Yeah, it says it's just stuck with online. It was just going sending data online, sending data online, sending data online.
I've got stuff coming through.
Okay.
But I've been having issues both with my stream as well. When I'm streaming to Twitch, it doesn't show up. If I'd be like the creator studio, everyone would call it open.
Yeah.
Nothing shows up. But if I refresh it, it then does.
I don't look at any of that because I haven't got the extra. As stupid as it sounds, I haven't got the extra hardware to.
Well, I've got second mod, so I can have it.
Yeah.
Set up. So.
I haven't even got the processing power. I've barely got the processing power to play the game and stream it these days.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. So, good day on the TheSuffolkRam.
Skazz.
Episode 150 of the Rant podcast. What was meant to be a very happy and positive and another milestone down the road podcast.
Chernobyl cast, wasn't it? Was it Chernobyl cast?
Chernobyl cast. Yeah. I mean, our last 50th podcast, we had a Kim Jong-un podcast. We did episode 50.
Mm-hmm.
That was the episode 100. We went to North Korea. And then here we are at episode 150. We went to go to Chernobyl. That obviously wasn't happening with what was going on. And we've had a bit of a disastrous week.
We've had, we may as well have gone to Chernobyl. It'd have probably been easier.
Yeah. So after, let me tell you how I discovered what the problem.
Go.
After we did our live stream for Games Night on Tuesday evening, Annie. After you left, me and Saber saw had a quick chat, and we were discussing the channel, what we're doing with it, and so forth. And he said, "Oh, you got a website?" I said, "Oh yeah, go to randnerds.com and you can have a look." And he tried and goes, "This ain't working." So I'm getting this domain is expired message. I said, "That's not right. The domain is still an active domain." So I go try it myself, and yes, indeed, it comes up domain is expired. So that's bizarre. It's I'm sure I've set it to auto renew. Quickly log into our hosting provider, and it says domain is expired, auto renew enabled. So I think, well, how can the domain expire but it's got auto renew on it? And the fact is as well that every month they take money out of my account for the hosting of the website and everything. So they've clearly got taking payment for stuff. So there's something going on here.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's still active. It still functions.
Yeah, the other address for the website works. There's another web address to the website which you go to that does work.
Mm-hmm.
So I go, right, okay. I message them. And they're an American-based company. That's where most of the support's based. So you tend to get there's sort of a few hours. If you message them late at night, you get a response quite quickly. But if you message them sort of early hours in the morning, you won't hear anything till later evening. Generally, I find. I think the technical stuff is a bit quicker, but billing and stuff doesn't work 24/7.
Sure.
So they get a message back. So I message and say, "Hey, my domain was set to auto renew. Hasn't renewed. What's going on? What's the problem here? And how do I had tried to renew it. I tried to go and renew it, and it wouldn't let me.
Okay.
It just there's a little box for renew, and it's just grayed out. So I was like, okay, it must be some glitch. So it's about they then come back and say, "Oh, well, we issued you an invoice for this domain back in August. You didn't pay it, so we shut the domain down. It expired. We gave you a grace period, which you still didn't pay it. It expired. So we gave it to a reseller." I'm like, so I basically go back and say, in a very polite way, I showed the messages to you what I sent to them. I was quite polite but firm. I basically said, "Look, I had this all set to auto renew. You've got all my billing details. You take money out of me. Same thing just said there. You can take money out of me every month. You take money off me. So clearly you can take money off me. Why was this not auto renewed? And now you're telling me, because they said to me, 'Oh, this is who it's with. You've got to sort out yourself.'" As an told me, I've now got to jump through hoops to contact this domain person to try and get it back. So I at this point, so I messaged them off. I also messaged the reseller and said, my host provider's fucked up. Were meant to have charged me for this. They haven't, and I've only just now noticed. What can you do? Can you somehow help me out with this, please? Not expecting I was going to say, well, because it goes to an auction.
Yeah.
So I was about to say, well, you're going to have to bid on it. But I was hoping I might be able to sort of like talk some sense into him, but we'll see what's going to happen. So I wait, and at that point it's getting quite late. So Clemens looks at it the next day, and I've had a message back from they've come. So first of all, the resellers come back to me and say, "I'm sorry, we've sold it." I was like,
"Yeah,
right." So your only option now is to use what they call domain broker. And I looked at here is information. It's hidden, but it's now based in China, Hong Kong to be exact.
Fantastic.
So I'll see. There's some person who just buys up all these domains, presuming them to sell them on.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck, right. I said, well, what do we do now? So if you contact a domain broker basically can reach out to these people and say, hey, want to buy this domain and sort of negotiate on your behalf.
Yeah.
So I think I've got to get this domain back. So go to the domain broker's website. By this point, our hosting company's come back to us. They've said, oh, I've checked your account. Yes, you were set to auto-renew. Yes, we have got your payment information. I hope you've got luck with the reseller sorting this out for you and sort of get back to us. It's like, thanks for nothing, really. You know,
yeah.
You basically said to me, you admitted you fucked up.
Yeah, that was it. That was flat out a confession right there. This is on us. Yes, it was set to auto renew. Yes, we have access to your payment information. And if they'd have said yes, we've tried it and it seems to function, then that's entirely on them.
Yeah, and the fact that I've had invoices that have come in after the renewal notice.
Yep, using the same payment method. Yeah,
and they've all paid. Yeah, so I was like, right, okay. So I email the broker, have to pay the broker before I can even do anything. I have to pay him 60 quid. So I pay him 60 quid before they'll even do anything.
Really?
They say, yeah. So they say, what's your budget then for this? And I said, I thought, how much I want to pay? Because really, how much I want to pay for this domain? I thought, I want it back. So I thought $200. I thought $200. I thought, that's more I really want to, but I'm prepared to pay that for domain back. So I put him in. Again, it's an American-based company, so that I don't get an email back later in the evening. So I'm waiting for him to get back to me before I do anything else. And as at this point, I've had back from to saying they basically fucked up. So great. A few hours after I put that deal through, I get an email from our broker, Tim, his name is, and he says, "Okay, thank you for that. Just so you know, the budget you put in is unlikely just to get us anywhere. For me to contact these people and actually have a chance of negotiating on your behalf, you need to really put your budget somewhere between $500 and $1,500. And I basically remember saying, no, surely not. Because bear in mind, these brokers get a commission of the sale.
Yeah.
So they say they're going to try and get the lowest price they can for you, but I think I smell a bit of bullshit there. So I thought I'd rather pay you more up front, but you don't get a commission.
Yeah.
So I remember I say to him, hang on a second. You know, this domain was going to be £15 for me to renew it.
Yeah.
And now you're telling me I've got to spend between $500 and $1,500 to get it back. How on earth have you got that valuation? How on earth have you got that price? Can you explain to me where these valuations come from? How a domain that should cost 15 quid for 2 years is going to cost me $1,500 to get back? Can you? That's basically how to answer. Can you explain this to me?
Yeah.
As of yet, I've not had an email back. And I sent that about 4 days ago. I've not had a single.
I don't imagine you're going to get anything back. To be fair.
No. I don't think I will. So, but bear in mind, I'm out 60 quid on that. I go back to the host provider and say to him, right, I've been to your domain's reseller who you get. I said, first of all, thank you for confirming that all the information I was correct, that I had auto renew. You have my payment. Thank you for confirming all that information to me, that you've got all that information. Now, I've now had to go to the reseller. Reseller sold it on, and gone to a broker. Broker's now telling me between £500 and £1,500 to get this $1,500 to get this back.
Yeah.
So I basically said to him, "What's your plan to resolve this?" Basically, fucked up. I sort of knew nothing was going to happen. I didn't get any out for some time. Usually, they're responding quite quickly before. And I didn't know anything back. So clearly they were doing some discussion behind the scenes. You can just tell the guy's gone higher up and he's having a chat with his boss and so forth. Because from my first message to my second, I've been escalated to senior billing.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if he's a Spanish guy who just happens to work there,
senior billing.
Senior billing. He comes back and basically says, we reviewed the invoice. The invoice was sent to one-time payment via PayPal. We've issued it. We gave you, you issued it. You didn't pay it. We gave you a warning on this date, a warning on that date, which I've still not found in my emails. I've tried, I've still not found it. We're not going to do anything. I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. I thought myself, really? That's pretty ridiculous now. It's getting sort of like taken to the piss now. I thought, what are you guys up to? So I was like, right, so what do? I thought, well, I can't, I'll probably get no joy of this reseller. Odds are I'm not going to get a domain back. Realistically, now, odds are I'm going to get this domain back because I doubt anyone's interested in trying to help me.
Yeah.
So it's like, right, what do? So like, okay, then I said to you, and you said, should we just rebrand, or should we try and get a different domain? So, so we said I had to look for a different domain. Luckily, randnerds.co.uk was available, which this shows you how it's an unpopular name because
every domain was pretty much open on it.
Yeah, which is why I can't believe it'd be worth $500.
Yeah.
So I went and I bought that domain. I was going to. There was an offer. I thought I was going to get cheap through 123.
Yeah.
Because they had an offer on, but it turns out I've already had an account and bought stuff from them in the past, so I'm not a first-time customer anymore.
Okay.
So it was actually cheaper, ironically, on our hosting provider. I thought, well, at least but it's cheap on there. At least if I buy it on there, they've already got it. They have to then transfer it to them.
Yeah, sure.
So I message back, send your billing, and say to him, right, okay, I'm not happy with the response. I personally feel that you've made a mistake here, and now I've lost out and suffered because of it.
Yeah.
However, I appreciate you're not going to do anything now. I need a website set up. I've purchased a new domain for you. Please point to the website. 10 minutes later, I get a message saying, yep, certainly. Sorry, thank you for that. We'll get it sorted for you as quick as we can. Literally 10 minutes later.
Cheeky bastards.
Yeah. So they've sorted it. I back up the server because it basically flushes everything out. All the login details change, all the email addresses change. So like basically everything that was for the old domain gets changed, update everything. Luckily, it's a good job actually we transferred the podcast over to Anchor because then
we would have. So if everything was on our main, if everything was hosted on our main site and server as it normally would have been, they would have all been linked to randnerds.com. So all of your podcatchers, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, all of those,
updated.
They would have all gone. Randnerds.com has disappeared. All of those podcasts have disappeared. So, we just so happened to move podcast provider at just the right time.
Yeah, literally a few months ago. So that was lucky.
Yeah.
So I wasn't too worried about that because I thought, well, if the website goes down for a day while I fix it, I'm not too worried. It's the podcast I don't want to go down.
Yeah.
Luckily, it all went smoothly. I had to change a couple of settings on the WordPress options file. There's like a couple of settings you've got to update. New URL. Changed a couple of those, and it's now seems to be, touch wood, working fine. So we're now randnerds.co.uk, which actually, we are being British, is probably better anyway.
I suppose.
So all I can hope is randnerds.com, when that expires next year, if they've not been able to sell it, they might just expire. Probably not. They might do, in which case I'll snap it up again.
Sure. But that is what a complete and utter ball ache. When you messaged me about that, I was like, "Oh my god, really?"
Yeah. It's about a couple of days after this all started. I thought I was hoping to get it sorted, and when it feels it's going to get more serious, I thought I better just give Luke in the know before he notices. Cause
I can confirm that you were incredibly diplomatic in the messages. My god, though, your messages to me, I was like, "Damn, I've never heard Ram swear this much."
Yeah. I work with in retail. I work in retail. I know when you're dealing with people, odds are the person you're dealing with has really got not a lot of control of the situation.
Yeah, sure.
And I also know that and this is something that some people don't believe, but you get when it comes to retail, you definitely get You get far being nice, understanding, polite, and professional.
You get what you give.
You get a lot further with people. Then, if you feel that you go and have to shout and rant and wave at them, that won't get you very far. Because all that happens is, as I can tell you, as a manager of a company, all we go is, I'm going to do the fucking minimal I have to do with this guy, and I'm going to make. Do you know what? He says he wants to call back today. I could call him back now. I want to make him wait 6 hours. Then I want to call him back.
Mate,
we basically make it a miserable experience for you.
I did the exact same thing, self-employed. It's like, look, if you're going to treat me like a mug, then I ain't that desperate for money. No.
So, yeah, if you want to get stuff, you've got to be polite with people because you're going to get somewhere.
Yeah.
So that's that. So unfortunately, in the grand scheme, it's not the end of the world. I'm pissed off, but it's not the end of the world. The website's still there. You can still find. I've just got to go around, update all like the various other sites that points to .com. It's like YouTube, for example, points to .com, not .co.uk. So I just got to try and remember all the various sites I've got and update those. Yeah. Luckily, it ain't many.
No, we ain't got many. We've got like what, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube.
Twitter, Twitch, YouTube.
The Facebook page. Is there a Facebook page? Yeah.
There is a Facebook page, yeah. Yeah, all those sort of people. So I just need to go around and update those. So it's not the end of the world, but fuck me, was I pissed off.
Mate, we've had it happen here before. We've had a domain just, I can't remember if it slipped or just something happened and bam, it was gone, and there's not really a whole lot you can do about it. And I mean, I've also had domains that I've owned for years and years and years and years, and then some random guy will just come along and say, I want that. And they'll actually pay people to try and snipe it. And it's just, no. And you'd be surprised how much people are willing to pay for domains, Ram. Because, I mean, one of my old domains from back in the day, all I use it for is mail forwards. Nothing else. He offered me $2,000 for it. And I was like, no. Just, no. You're not having it.
Well, I can actually tell you a story of a fairly famous company that's definitely dear to my heart, and is indeed to most gamers' hearts, really. Old Gaben and Valve.com.
Oh dear.
Valve.com was owned by this guy. He bought Valve.com, and Valve went to buy it. Valve tried to buy it off him, and he basically he put an offer in. He basically came back with, I've come up with the details where they actually hit. Basically came up with an offer that was like ridiculous. They said like, no, that's a silly price. You don't really use this domain. You're not really doing anything with it. Basically, you're hoarding it. That's what they basically said. Because he claimed it was a. Do you remember portal sites back in the day?
Yeah.
He claimed it was a portal site for plumbing suppliers.
Okay.
That's what he claimed, but he had updated it in years and so forth. Well, eventually Valve took him to court. Basically said he was hoarding this domain. And the court eventually sided with him and basically said, you've not done anything with this domain, you've not updated it, you're not regularly using it. It's clear you're only hoarding and the price you're offering was clearly a way of trying to just get as much money as you could for it. Yeah. Not what its actual value is. So they took it off and gave it to Valve. Well, I think they had to pay for it.
Yeah, sure. But a more reasonable price,
Yeah. So, I mean, I sort of get that bit, because if there are people out there who think they'll snap and aim up.
Yeah.
I mean, if some small up and coming company looks like it's going to go somewhere but hasn't bought the domain, I could see someone seeing that and going, oh, we'll quickly buy that domain.
Yeah, sure.
Keep hold of that for them, and then try and sort. Which I think people did do. People did.
They still do. Still do.
Yeah. Used to extort that sort of stuff out of people. So it does happen, and there are cases being made for people who just sit on domains. But there's those cases where someone who's small and independent who has a domain and that certain domain for a reason. Yep. And they use it regularly. Well, then they should be able to keep it, because they're first to it. Just because you're a bigger company doesn't mean you can bully them to have it. Yep. So I can see it both sides, is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, for sure.
But anyway, so that's that. So
yeah, I mean,
7 years, Skazz. 7 years I've had that.
Mate, I was pissed off as well. I mean, I got your message when I was live, and I was like, oh shit. and I went into Discord, had a proper read of it, and I literally stopped the stream and called over to the mistress, to the wife, and I was like, fucking, like shit has really hit the fan, and Ram's not happy, and I don't know what the hell to do. I don't know what to suggest.
It was more when I messaged you. It was more of an FYI.
Yeah.
Than anything else.
No, I understand that, but I was like, this is brutal because we've had that domain for so long.
Yeah,
and we were so careful with it, and I mean, to snipe a domain like that, to me, like I said to the wife, I said, do you know what, this just smells like scalping. Someone has found a domain that has expired. They're hoping that the person's going to want it back, and they've just fucking grabbed it and jacked it.
That's exactly what the whole thing is. That's clearly why my broker guy, who's still not emailed me back, has said you need to offer them $500 because they say that's also what they expect the people to supply it as.
Yeah,
and
that was before you told me how much they wanted for it. You did, I was like, that's just.
No, I was prepared to put a couple of dollars into it, but because part of me does blame myself because although it's all set to auto renew, I should have checked. But then I don't really go on my hosting company very often.
No, neither do I.
It's all set to come out the account, and you see, and every month I see bills go out the account, so nothing flagged up. And when this is actually a downside, when you have something that lasts for so long, when something that has lasted like a couple of years, which it did, you tend to forget about renewing it.
Yeah.
You expect. I mean, usually it's like, oh, why is that money got in my account? I wasn't expecting that. Oh, it's a renewal. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's what I normally expect, but you don't think, oh, I better go check see if my renewal's up to date.
Yeah.
You don't think to look.
Well, no, because I mean, like I said to you about my providers, 1, 2, 3. I'm not a huge fan of. If I had to be honest, I have had run-ins with them in the past, but they're cheap. And when you need to get hold of customer service, they're there. You know, and the back end for everything is pretty solid too. So, it's simple, straightforward, and everything works. It's it's quick to do whatever you need it to do. But they email me every time something goes wrong or every time something's about to go wrong. They're like, hey, by the way, in XYZ amount of time, you are going to be due to renew. Make sure that we've got your information. Make sure that you've got the money for it. Then when it renews, by the way, we've taken the money from you, or by the way, we've tried to take the money from you. Can you get your ass over here and sort this stuff out? And then, they email me. They keep me in the chain all of the time. They don't. There's no chance of it just slipping, and that's what I thought was weird. That's what I thought was weird when you said your provider didn't.
It's possible it got spammed out because the issue with our provider is they are very overzealous with the emails. They email me about every little thing.
But even so, spam filters last for a month.
Well, something's happened. I've not been able to find the email. I've had other emails off them.
Yeah.
For other invoices. But I've not. So as of yet, I've searched for emails, searched for the different possible things. Because again, they have about 4 or 5 different emails addresses they come to you from.
Mm-hmm.
And as of searching, I've not found the renewal notices.
Sure.
But that's really buy to buy because I could say to them, I haven't had the email. They'll just say, we sent them.
Yeah.
So your source, it's at that point, your word against theirs. So you can't, it would be nice for my own peace of mind, not being able to find them makes me feel somewhat better because I make myself, has it come through?
Yeah.
But then if I did find them, I'd feel awful because I think, well, how did I miss that?
No, I understand that. I understand that.
So part of me wants to find, part of me doesn't want to find them.
No, I get that.
So it is what it is. At the end of the day, it is what it is. It's done. It's clean. I'm annoyed by it, but I'm sort of trying to actually. There's no point in crying over spilled milk. We've lost it. We've got a new one.
Move on.
We'll just have to work on that. Yeah, we'll just have to work on that. It's what it is.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, at the end of the day. So unfortunately, it was meant to be a very happy podcast. It's unfortunately turned into a not a happy podcast.
Yeah, sure. Well, that's all right because I haven't really had a chance to play Dick All, so.
No. Well, we've played a bit more. Well, I won't go into detail. We played a bit more Payday 2, which has been fun.
We're blind as fuck.
Yeah.
I watched that. I was like, nah, it's not a thing. That weren't real. That didn't look like a crowbar. I'm sorry. That wasn't a crowbar.
Well, because we got basically we played this level where we're in a hospital and you're meant to be extracting blood from a patient. Incidentally, that's actually a tie with Left 4 Dead.
Oh, right.
It's the same hospital where Patient Zero's at in Left 4 Dead. Just a little tie in there.
I don't actually think I haven't played much of Left 4 Dead, to be honest.
Have you not?
No.
That's another one for games like to add in then. Basically it's time for Left 4 Dead. You went to hospital, we had to extract blood from patients, had to centrifuge it, find the blood we need, all the time being assaulted by coppers. At the end, we get into the lift, and shit hits the fan because obviously this guy's got something pretty nasty. Because next thing you know is the Yanks are bombing the whole hospital to try and stop you. The lift sort of catches fire, and you're about to sort of get roasted alive. And there's a small hatch, and to get the hatch open, you need a crowbar. And we spent 2 minutes just wandering around going, where the fuck's the crowbar? Who didn't bring the crowbar? Why would they just let us
We even went, at the end of the mission, we even went back to look through inventories and selectable weapons and items and that.
Yeah.
Is there a tool that we needed?
Yeah. What a fucking fail state is this, where they can sort of make a not let us, how can they let us get lift out a crowbar and then treat us like that? I mean, what sort of fail state? You've done a whole mission, and then you forgot some crucial information because you had no forward knowledge of it.
Yeah.
That's bullshit. Bullshit. So the next day after, I thought, where is these crowbars? Anyway, so I Googled the mission, and I saw, it's hanging up on a rail in the lift. It's like, I don't remember seeing that. So I thought, right, when I get through to the edit, and I went for the edit, and yeah, there it was.
But let's be fair. One, how many times do you have a crowbar just floating in a lift? Just floating on a rail in a lift. It
was hanging on a rail, to be fair.
Yeah, but I'm saying, you don't. So you wouldn't realistically look for...
Yes, but it gets worse, Skazz, if you notice, but actually it put an objective marker over the crowbar as well.
No, I didn't notice.
Yeah, if you go back and look, there's an objective marker over the crowbar.
See, I wasn't paying attention.
No, I swear. So when you watch our video on Monday, you'll get to see the missed crowbar count.
The bumbling idiots.
Yeah, as they failed to find a crowbar in a lift.
I'm proud of
us.
One person,
because I was reading on someone else, we weren't the only one. Some person said, my group, we went online and we died in the lift because we couldn't find where the crowbar is. We didn't know where it is. And someone replied, said, how did 4 of you in one small lift not manage to find the crowbar that's hanging up next to the thing? I was
I know. I've got to throw this out there as well. There are some really stupid things in Payday that just don't look like the thing that you're looking for. Some stuff looks really over the top and obvious, and other stuff looks like it came from a PlayStation 1 game.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't even know if this is what I'm looking for, but apparently it is.
Yeah. The mechanic of you have to, when you pick something up, to use it on something specific, you have to sort of throw it at it.
Yeah.
So, to drill a door, you walk to the door and literally throw the drill at the door, and then it sort of it's like within the little catchment area.
Yeah, latches, yeah.
Yeah, that's Scupperdust being able for the first one of our bank heists mission, one that you sort of joined it midway through on.
Yeah.
That scuppered us because we can work out how to use this drill because we were trying to use it on the door, and it was only when by accident I threw it into that little zone. It's like, oh, that's how you do it.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't an obvious way of doing it. So
there isn't a lot that's particularly obvious in Payday, to be honest. It's fun. Don't get me wrong, it's really fun, but I don't see really how you could do a lot of those missions stealthily. Without certain perks and without certain weapon unlocks that you get at higher levels and that are random drops.
So a lot of the stealth mechanics based on your loadout. So if you take powerful high-end gear, how easy you are to detect goes up and up and up. So if you're wearing heavy armor, if you're carrying a big gun, you're easy to spot. Whereas if you go wearing just a suit and nothing, so all those detection markers.
Yeah.
The reason they seem really quick was because we were really overt.
Yeah. I noticed that, but in some cases when we first started playing, we were getting spotted really easily. I can remember when we were going through that shipping yard, And you and Zaber got spotted like, bam, heartbeat. And I was like, what the fuck was that about? Because you guys weren't exactly carrying around anything hardcore. And that that bar, that little meter that you were talking about, wasn't particularly high either.
No.
So
I do think perhaps part of it was real rushing a little bit, I think.
Maybe. But then how quiet can you be?
Well, the mission after that, where we were going to that warehouse, we were doing okay initially. It was only because we made a mistake. I mean, I was only off and I sort of got I sort of managed to hide for somebody and knock him out. And then you guys started getting spotted by somebody else, and I just about knocked him out. Then I can't remember what happened, whether he managed to get a shot off just before I knocked him out, or somebody fired a gun. I can't remember what happened there. I have to look back and see, which then alerted everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So we were very close to getting past that one. We nearly knocked the guy out, and we're actually going close to getting past that bit.
Mm.
So I think it's doable. We should be a little bit careful about it.
Mm.
But I would say it's been a very fun game. I'm suppressed. I mean, I can't say all the missions we played. I can't say any of them really felt like a duff mission. They've all been enjoyable missions.
Yeah,
I can't say if anything. I mean, I was a little bit. I was a little bit disappointed by the White House mission at the start because there's so many invisible walls.
Yeah.
But all the other
that was the one that we literally steamrolled, wasn't it?
That's because we went from doing the really hard level and we then up to all our gear.
But we've done a normal mission since, and even like dealing with regular riot cops is harder than dealing with the trained soldiers that were at the White House.
I think the mission we did on normal, we steamrolled quite well as well.
Oh, we did, but I've personally felt that the riot cops were harder to deal with than the soldiers. Yeah, there were more shields and tasers, should we say, when we were dealing with the riot police than when we were doing the White House mission with just the army, in that.
Yeah.
But
yeah, actually, I mean, it's quite a nice variety of missions. Each mission's quite nicely paced, so it sort of like varies a little bit. We'll move on to something else now because we like to sort of keep moving on the games night. Sure. We don't play it for weeks with the same thing. But I would like to go back to Payday 2 at some point. I've enjoyed what we've done. I'd like to go back and carry on the heists.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So awesome. That's Payday 2. So I know you've got a game you want to talk about just yet, so we'll save it for next time.
Yeah, sure. Well, it's a game and a series I've already mentioned. I mentioned it in the last podcast that East Origin was coming out on Switch. That my son wanted me to play it, and I got it. I've played it, but I haven't finished it yet, and I want to jump in a little deeper before I go into it. There's nothing really to say about it that I haven't said about other East games in the past, but it's better than I thought it was going to be. I've always had a bit of a negative opinion of East Origin, and going through it and playing it this time, I was like, actually, it's not that bad.
Okay, that's good. All right, well, we'll look forward to the in-depth one on that then.
Yeah.
Cool. So, the game I'm playing, I'm playing a game called Granny. I'm just going to check if it's called Granny. Was it called?
Yeah, I was going to say, just check.
No, it's just called Granny. It's just called Granny.
Okay.
It's a, believe it, right, without looking it up, what genre do you think Granny is?
Old folks home.
Yes, the old folks home genre of games. No, it's a survival horror.
Okay.
You have to escape from Granny.
Oh no, actually, I can kind of see that now. Yeah, no, I get that. Okay.
She catches you. She bonks you on the head.
Mm-hmm.
So you're this random person who's wandering through the forest.
Through the forest
in the middle of the night.
As you do.
And he sees a house in the distance. He starts to walk up to the house, wondering, "Oh, there's a house over there." And he's going. I think it's a he. They're getting a bit freaked out by the forest. They keep hearing noises behind them, so looking over their shoulder. And they see his house. They start walking up towards the house in the distance. And next thing they turn around, there's this horrifically monstrous grandmother behind them who whacks them on the head.
Fantastic.
And then they wake up in the house, and there's depending on what difficulty level you play on. So you play on normal, there are 5 locks on the door.
All right.
But all different types of lock, and you have to find the bits out of them. But basically, it's a sort of horror game where it's a stealth survival horror. So there are weapons in it, but generally you are unarmed. And you are Granny herself is patrolling the halls of this house. She reacts by sound. So if she hears something, she moves quite slowly normally, but if she hears something, she'll make her way towards that location. Wherever she's in the house, she can hear it.
Okay.
So she's the other side. So as soon as you make a noise, she's coming. So you have to sort of then hide. You need to hide things. As long as you hide, she'll miss you. But if she sees you go into hiding, she'll come after you and pull you out, and either pull you out of a locker or sort of like do a strange move, which is like comes to bed and sort of eats you and that sort of thing, box you on the head. So you've got 5 days. So 5 days are basically your lives. So every time you get caught, you get knocked out. It advances a day.
Okay.
But anything you've done, apart from the doors, which are locked, and apart from doors are all closed by default, anything you've done stays. Is permanent. So it's not like you start back at square one.
Right.
But other than that, it's basically you have to it's a set of puzzles. Really, you have to get your way around the house, find the bits. So I'm going to show you this, Luke, because I was sort of like playing through it, and you know me, I like maps. So first of all, let me find all my various notes.
Did you get your biro out and your notepad?
I think you could say that. Where are we? There we are. So first of all,
I can just want to throw out there. I can just imagine you playing a text adventure, because that is exactly what guys who play text adventures do. Yeah.
So the people who watch it on the audio can't see this, but I hope you can see my webcam.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic.
There's a map. Now I was very clever with maps, so I thought, I'm going to put mark down because I'll mark down all the locations of everything as I find them.
Okay.
And it turns out randomizers.
So I was going to say, let me guess.
Well, it doesn't. There are 5 preset setups for where items are.
Okay.
One interesting feature this game has got. So I was playing it stealthily, and I saw my way through, and I sort of learned the stealth elements. It's kind of frustrating. You don't know your way around. You try to sort of map it out. You're trying to plan your way out. But they actually have a practice mode.
Oh, right.
And the practice mode basically is this is a game, but Granny has gone out for the day.
Oh, fantastic.
But as she said, because if you go into the front door, there's another door that says, I'm out, I'll be back later.
That is cool. Neat little.
But at that point, it's a walking simulator. Yeah. So I thought I'd just see what's practice like. So I have a little practice. And actually, I really enjoyed it just as a puzzle game, because I was just sort of wandering my way through, working out where things were, and this little puzzle element. I was really enjoying it just as a puzzle game.
Cool.
Around the house. There are still 2 insta-kill things in the game in the practice mode, which are like sort of like there's like she has some pets which are still there, and they all just and they're instant. Well, one's an insta-kill, one's just an annoyance, and there's sort of like a bit where you fall through a floor and you die if you fall through it.
Yeah.
So those bits are still there, but yeah, I was actually quite enjoying it as a little like puzzle game. So I spent like sort of a couple of hours just all working my way through like a little puzzle game. I was all like exploring everywhere, unlocking everything, doing everything, and completing it. But eventually you do that, and then it says, well done, you've done the practice mode. Now it's time to play. Now next time you need to play a Granny there. It's like, okay, so here we go, load up. So this is why it was only when I loaded this up that I discovered that the game randomizes locations and things. Like, oh, great. So what I then did was, okay, I'm going to do this. So I was looking at the time, it was getting quite late. I thought, right, I want to get this done before podcast comes on. I went to the wiki and thought, here's a list of where everything is. Good. Okay, I'm going to do that. So then what I did was I made a flowchart of everything I needed to complete the level, on which order I need to do things and to get it.
Oh my God. Good job, Ram. Yeah. Good job.
Yeah. So I made a lovely flowchart. And then it's basically just working your way around it. Now, so Granny's AI, so she basically, I said, she'll come to anywhere she hears a noise, she'll go there. If she sees you, she'll chase you. Mm-hmm. The difficulty levels, the main of the difficulty levels is hard difficulties, you have more locks on the doors.
Mm-hmm.
So on easy, there's 4 locks. Normal, there's 5. I play on normal. Normal, there's 5 locks. And then hard of the locks, I think there's 6, if not 7 locks, I think. as you get higher in, there's more stages to escape. There's also a car in the downstairs garage that you can, if you repair it, you can escape.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to find like a spark plug. They call it engine part. It's the head of the engine.
Yeah.
A battery, petrol, car key. Switch the engine on, and then you can drive out and escape. It's like a thin wall that you have to bash your way through with the car to escape.
Right.
So play that. So yeah, you do that. That's your two sort of escape ways to get out. So I said, hello. I said, hey, it's pretty interesting. Once you sort of learn it, you can avoid it. One thing she does do, which is a little bit cheeky, is she'll put bear traps down.
All right.
And she has a lot of bear traps. I don't know where she keeps them. I mean, I know she wears a dress, but she must have like 50 in there. I don't know where she's pulling these bear traps, but she's got loads of them. And if you get caught in the bear trap, it makes a noise, which she hears, but you can release it. Annoyingly, there's no like way you can disarm them. Yeah, you can either throw something at it, which will set them off,
or step in it.
Fantastic. And either method makes a noise.
All right.
So that's a little bit annoying because if she puts them, there's some routes where you can't avoid them.
Mm-hmm.
And there's only one way in or out. You've got to go through it. So it's a case of I set it off and we'll have to go and hide again, or I hope she's far enough away going because it doesn't hurt you to trip it. Amazingly, it doesn't cut your leg off. It doesn't hurt to fall into a bear trap. So you go into the bear trap and then you sort of pull it off your leg and then off you go.
It's just to slow you down and make noise to trigger the granny.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
Yeah, well, especially because I thought for a while she's temple. She doesn't. She does literally move from wherever she is to the other location. She doesn't walk around the house with you. And otherwise she's just randomly wandering around and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was I was surprised at actually how neat it was. When I saw I looked at it, thought it looks like sort of typical little cheapy indie game, real like simple textures, simple graphics, very blocky levels. Definitely, I thought I'll give it a good go. And actually, I was pleasantly surprised actually how I won't say in depth, but how much was in there.
Yeah.
The fact that it randomizes, the fact that you have to there are some puzzles to it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yes, a lot of them come down to once you know how to do the puzzle, you just got to find the right bits to do the puzzle.
Yeah.
But it's fine those bits, so forth. So I mean, yeah, if I had more time, wasn't wanted to complete it before I spoke to you, I had to explore naturally and so forth. Once I knew how gliding works, though, it is fairly easy to avoid them. I said the main difference between the difficult levels is number of blocks, but also her speed. So on the higher difficulty, she moves faster. On all but the most extreme difficulty, she moves slower than the player, just.
Right.
So I think on easy, I think she's half your speed.
Yeah.
I think on normal, she's about 40% slower, about 6% your speed.
Yeah.
And I think then on the hardest, before she goes above, she's at 80% your speed.
Mm-hmm. And
then above that, she's actually faster than you.
Oh, there you go.
So in that case, you can outrun her, but you have to close doors because doors slow her down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. But I was pretty surprised how neat the game was. There's some DLC for it's amazingly for an indie games DLC.
It's called Grandpa.
Yeah, actually, you joke, but yeah, it basically has Grandpa into it.
Nailed it.
Yeah, there's also a Granny 2 coming.
Oh, they.
Granny 2, Granny 2, the grannying. But yeah, I was. But yeah, I was.
Graninator 2, Judgment Day.
Yeah. Granny 2, Doily Day. Yeah, very pleasantly surprised at how fun a little game it was, actually. And I thought I would say, let me have a quick look, see what he's pricing at the moment. Store page, I got ages ago. It's pricing at $3.99.
Oh, mate.
In all honesty, I honestly $3.99. It's worth it for $3.99.
Sure.
If you like stealth, oh shit, didn't mean to do that. Oh dear. I've just opened Premiere Pro.
Don't do that.
No, close Premiere Pro. Yeah, in all honesty, if you like sort of the stealth survival horror games, so Amnesia, Soma, Outlast.
Yeah.
That was not a very good stealth survival horror. Among the Sleep, Alien Isolation. You like those sort of games? Actually, this ain't bad for $3.99. This ain't bad. It's a neat little, and it's supported about it's there's plenty in it for the price.
Sure.
Or the price justifies. I mean, it's cheaper than a cup of. I mean, there are a cup of coffees that cost you more than $3.99. So,
yeah, for sure, I agree.
Yeah, so
there's very little you can do. I used to live in Norwich City. There's very little you can do in Norwich City for that kind of cash.
Look, skip lunch, buy Granny, you'll lose some weight, and you'll have a little bit of a fun time.
Exactly. You'll never look at OAPs the same way again.
Exactly. Which brings us nicely on to
the fitness challenge.
Yes. So, Skazz,
how are you actually finding it, Ram? So the idea being that we're gonna be doing some VR cardio, for a wee while, just to basically see if 1, do we actually feel anything? 2, fun. 3, do we actually lose any weight, or do we actually feel different in ourselves from doing it? I'm curious how you're getting on with it.
So, I think we made a fundamental mistake in that we decided to use as our metric losing weight, and unfortunately, human beings are very annoyingly efficient.
Yes,
we're very good at walking. We're very good at stuff. So, the sort of VR games that we were using Box VR. Well, I was using Box VR.
Yeah.
Simply doesn't burn enough calories.
No.
Even after I did a 1.5 hour session and it said I burnt 90 calories.
Wow.
And I was like, well, I burn more than that just walking around of a day.
Yeah.
So actually, I thought, this is the wrong thing to look at. What I did notice, so to me, the weight, I'm calling the weights, but to me, the weights are sort of like virtually scrapped out.
I will just quickly throw out there, if in the case of Box, because you must be doing like the green level of workouts, because that's all I can think of. If you were doing the intense workouts, which are reds, you should be pulling at least 150 every 15 minutes.
Well, the Box VR Go does I don't see, because we seem to be having different versions of this, because what I've got doesn't have that. It has beginner, and then it has it all by times.
Yeah.
Doesn't have any. They're all the same color and everything. There's no real obvious difference. Because
the extreme pack and the total body pack, for example, are DLCs.
Oh, well, I haven't bought the DLCs.
See, so I have DLC, so I get a bit more of a burn than you do, because it's a lot more intense. I have a lot more intense stuff as an option for.
Yeah. So I thought, like, even so, 150 calories isn't, in the grand scheme, that's not actually a big burn.
Well, it isn't. It's a can of Coke, but then in the grand scheme of things,
you'd be lucky.
Well, a can of Coke's only 110 to 120, so.
Is that all? I thought it was more than that.
No.
Oh, there you go.
Cup of tea with 2 sugars. Cup of tea, 2 sugars, and milk is only 60 calories, so.
Yeah. So the way I looked at it, though, wasn't okay. So what I thought, I'm doing this. What have I noticed? I'm not losing weight. Okay, but I'm not so surprised by that. What I did notice was, from the first time I did it, where I did a 10-minute session, I was quite knackered. I was then working out to 30-minute sessions and finishing them going, I've had a bit of work, but actually I feel all right. I could do another 30 minutes.
Yeah. So your stamina's going up.
Yeah. So that's what I've said. It's improving your stamina. I'm not totally surprised that it's not really made a dent on weight, because I just simply don't think, even the intense, I just don't think, unless you actually do, I think realistically, the only way you're going to lose weight, and it's a very simple formula, you have to burn more energy than you eat.
Yeah.
So by doing something like this without changing your diet, I think it's going to make a lot of difference.
But the idea is that we're only supposed to be eating the calories that we're supposed to be eating throughout a day anyway, and the VR cardio was supposed to be an extra burn.
Yeah. So,
because I don't eat a huge amount throughout the day, although I will admit over the last couple of weeks, oh my God, I've eaten like a fucking pig. Like, as soon as we started this thing, so like I think not long beforehand, I drank like 2 fucking 12 packs of Rona beer, So there you go, plenty of calories there. I was eating 2 or 3 triple cheeseburgers from McDonald's in the evenings. I was having like big old pizzas, KFCs. So that the first couple of weeks has just been a complete and utter blowout for me. Like my diet has been absolutely atrocious compared to what it would normally be anyway. So I'm not surprised my numbers haven't shifted, and if anything, have gotten worse.
So I haven't changed. I've basically thought, because what we did say was, let's see what this is. Because where we sort of spoke was, let's just make this the changing factor.
Yeah.
And see what happens. So I've not really changed the way of data. I've just
no, I didn't expect you to.
No. So I wanted to see what factor it is. Like I say, this has been I'm seeing this as a stamina boost. So I'm getting benefit from it. But I know that if I want to lose weight, I simply need to change my inputs. But give you this idea. So when we weighed, I did our initial weight. So you weighed in. This is 2 weeks ago. We did this.
Mm-hmm.
You weighed in at 66.5. I weighed in at 130.9.
Mm-hmm.
So you haven't weighed yourself today, but yesterday you weighed in at 66.2.
Mm-hmm.
As today I weighed in at 130. So people are thinking, oh, well, Ram, you've lost nearly a kilo. But if you look back over the course of the week, my lowest figure was 129.6, my highest 131. So I've been actually keeping within that range.
Yeah.
And my average is 130.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, I've not really gone out of range. I'm just with it. I'm just
sure,
because you're going to vary by day. Some days you eat a bit more, some days you eat a bit less, and just having food in your belly makes you heavier.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, that's I know for a fact that today when I weigh in, the results are going to be completely off because today, I had a box of chicken selects, a double cheeseburger, triple cheeseburger, large fries, large fucking drink. I think I've got a pizza or a KFC for tea. So just by sheer by sheer poundage of what I'm stuffing in my face.
Yeah, because this is something that people seem to think. I think a lot of people don't seem to think that when food goes to the side, it sort of disappears.
Yeah, it stops weighing anything. It's like, no, mate. Like if you eat a quarter pounder with cheese, like that is extra weight you've put into your body before it even becomes fat or muscle or gets burnt off. That's still something that you have to factor in.
Yeah, and most of it comes out somewhere.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Most of it generally, I can't remember what the figure is, but the amount of mass, the law of energy conservation is energy is very hard to break down from something. It's very hard to generate energy. This example that some people find quite amazing. If you get a fire and you light something on fire, and you weigh the wood before you start, and then you capture all the ash, you filter all the dust from the smog, you filter all that, and you weigh it again, they'll virtually be the same because only a small amount of the energy has been converted into heat. Only a tiny, tiny fraction. Well, same true as a human, isn't it? Only a small amount of what you eat actually the energy gets stored as fat, it gets either stored or it gets converted into energy that we use for cells, which ultimately comes out as heat, body heat. So if you eat 2 pounds of food, you're going to put those 2 pounds on until you shit 2 pounds out. It's just how it is.
Yep.
So people have this real idea that what you eat doesn't matter. It's like, well, no, make sure that's why I said at the start, if you're going to weigh yourself, you weigh yourself at the start or the end of the day. Don't weigh different times each day because one day you weigh in the morning and one day you weigh after lunch. You're going to get
for sure. It's going to be it's going to be a different thing.
Yeah. So I suppose what I'd say is we said we're going to do it for 4 weeks. So halfway through, I'm not surprised. What I've debating trying, what I've been looking at doing is, because I virtually do it anyway, just around food changes to implement it. Is this? Have you heard of intermittent fasting?
Yes, I have. But explain anyway for folks who haven't.
Okay, so basically, there are several different ways you can do it. The first version of it called the 5-2 diet, where you pick 2 days a week where you don't consume any calories. So you have two, and I think I can't remember if it's no calories or virtually no calories. It might be something like you eat 500 calories on a fasting day.
Yeah.
So if you do, it doesn't have to be 2 days consecutive. It can be just 2 days in a week. So you could say do 2 days on, have a fast day, 3 days have a fast day, 2 days, and that's your week done. Or 1 day, that doesn't add up right, does it? But you get the drift.
Yeah, sure.
And then you'll notice you're shuffling. The idea is on those days, your body thinks you're fasting. It starts to more. It converts. It's like you've got energy. I'm not great on biology. You've got energy stores that are like for immediate use. You've also then got long-term stores, and long-term is basically your fat.
Yeah.
So when you initially start losing weight, you're using your initial energy stores, because fat's actually, it's great for long-term storage, but it's really hard to get energy back out of.
Mm-hmm.
So you initially start losing weight, you start burning up energy from the sort. I can't remember what it is, whether is it glucose you store it in? I can't remember. Some form of thing you store it in. That gets you at first. It's only when you start using that, then you start burning the fat off. With intermittent fasting, the idea is it basically tricks your body into thinking you're fasting, so it starts to take energy from the fat instead.
Yeah.
Sort of the idea. So that's what 5-2 was like the first version.
Although, is it not that you have to make sure that you've had plenty of protein, though, to stop the body from cannibalizing muscle tissue before it cannibalizes fat? Because that's generally the first thing your body generally cannibalizes is muscle tissue.
Yeah, you're probably right on that one. Yeah, the way when it was described to when I last looked at it from my memory, was it was literally like on the days that you fast, you just start. The other days you just eat what you normally would.
Yeah.
So you don't change anything on your other days. So if you're like me, who eats quite a bit, because obviously I'm 130 kilos, I also eat quite a bit. Although I'm steady at 130 kilos, I've not gone up, I'm not gone down. I've remained quite steady. So clearly I'm somewhat plateaued. I eat normally, but on those days I'm not eating, I eat a little bit. And I wonder if that's probably why you eat a little bit, just enough to make your body feel you're not totally starving.
Yeah.
So it doesn't start immediately actuating you. So that's one version. The version I'm looking at is a different version. It's called a 16/8, and basically it's based on hours. So you basically fast every day. So you basically fast for 16 hours.
Mm-hmm.
The other 8 hours, you just eat what you feel like.
Yeah.
So, for example, for me, I've been thinking about doing it between say 8 p.m. and 12 o'clock in the day.
Mm-hmm.
So for 8 p.m. at night, and it's no calories at all. So even like cider, gone. But you can have coffee. Obviously, you can have coffee with no milk, no sugar.
Mm-hmm.
And you can have water. You can have tea with no milk or no sugar.
Mm-hmm.
As long as it's got no calories in it. For those 16 hours, you don't eat calories, and basically, it just your body starts to go as fast. And then
because your base calorie burn would overtake what it is that you're putting into your body, be it the tea, the coffee, the water. So then you're having to burn reserves rather than what you put in the tank.
Yeah, exactly. So I've been feeling things like that as a trial to see how I got on. So that's one of my sort of ideas to try. And in that, you're allowed to have an off day every so often. So even once a week, you can have like a day where you don't do it.
Yeah.
And they reckon if you do a 16/8, you'll probably lose somewhere in the region of 0.5 kilo a week.
Which is fair.
Well, that's considered a safe amount to lose, 0.5 kilo a week.
Yeah.
Which is about £1 a week.
Yeah.
So it's
which is that's generally pretty fair, between £1 and £2 over the course of. I mean, if you lose more, in my opinion, if you lose more than £5 in a month, you're really fucking pushing it.
I think, though,
or you've got a lot to bleed off. The more you've got, the more the more you don't need. More to the point. The closer you are to obesity, the easier you're going to have losing a shit ton of weight at the start. Because I've had some criticisms from doing this already, because I've told a few people about this, because I was also trying to encourage another one of my friends to lose weight. He's about your weight, actually. He's about your height, about your weight, maybe a bit less. But it's really starting to affect his health. And so I started trying to encourage him to change his diet a little bit to make him feel better. And I said to him, I wouldn't, tell him to do something that I wouldn't do myself. So I did that for a little bit, and people said, well, realistically, Skazz, you only weigh, my weight fluctuates anywhere between, say, 67 or say like 60, say 63 on average.
I can tell what your weight's fluctuating as. Your weight's fluctuating between 66.1 and 67.3.
Well, but normally it goes anywhere between 63 and 67. If I go anything higher than 66, I start to feel quite sick. Like I actually feel physically sick if I get heavier than 66 kilos. And so people say to me, but because I had like a body fat check and all that kind of stuff, and people have already they said like, but Skazz, you're near enough at an athletic build anyway, so there's not actually a lot of excess fat to burn off. So I'd have to do a lot of fucking work and have to really, count the calories to get a proper effect, whereas if I weighed say 15 stone and said, well, I'm going to do a bit of extra cardio, a bit of extra walking, I'm going to cut out sugar or whatever for a little bit, then I'd have a pretty serious drop off. I reckon if I was strict and cut off sugar, I could probably drop down to about 63 with no problem, but
yeah, when I last tried to do that a few years ago, I just did calorie counting, but in actual fact, I think in most doctors agree, actually, long-term calorie counting is the best way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's simple maths. You burn X, Y, Z, you intake less than that.
Yeah.
So, and one of the great things about being fat is initially you're going to burn more because it takes you spend you require a certain amount of energy just to keep going of a day.
Yeah.
Now the amount of energy I need to keep going is hard the amount of energy you need to go because
for sure.
I'm carrying more weight. So
you're taller than me and you weigh more.
And everything's got to work a little bit harder to maintain my body. So if you're fat and you start calorie counting, you lose weight actually initially quite quickly.
Yes.
For a bit, because initially you have this initial drop quite quick because you're fat.
Yeah.
And then as you get closer to your ideal weight, that plateaus off.
And then that's when people start to freak out, start getting upset, they start eating, and then it all comes back up.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I managed to lose. I lost quite a bit, actually. But yeah, so as it got further on, it was diminishing returns every single time. It was just getting worse. It was getting harder and harder every single time.
Yeah.
And in my case, what it was is that I like my food, and the things I like to eat were just so high in calories. Like, oh, I can't eat that. I can't eat that. I was actually miserable.
Yeah. No,
so
I understand that.
Part of the reason why I like this idea of the cinema party is, and they actually say, so outside that, you eat what you want.
Oh yeah, for sure.
There's no restrictions. So just for certain times you just don't eat. Yeah. So that's why I'm sort of going to give it a go.
Because people tend to find that the hardest thing a lot of people have is snacking. They just walk to the kitchen, they'll open up the fridge, they'll grab lump of cheese, go to the cupboard and grab some crisps, and then the next thing you know, you've just gone and eaten 400 calories, and that's not even a meal. It's just a snack.
Yeah.
Grab a can of Coke, that's another 100 and some odd calories on top.
Yeah.
It's really easy to burn, or really easy to consume calories. Everything we have is calorie rich these days. Also, it annoys me that people have this crazy idea that they need to eat like 2,000 calories or 3,000 calories every single fucking day. Well, look at the recommended daily intake on these food fucking packets. It says that I need to eat this many calories. It's like, that's not how much you need to eat. Okay, most of the time you're sat at a desk or, in your car. You're not burning anything doing any of those things. Average person probably realistically only needs to burn, or eat around 2,000 or less, because most people are sedentary anyway.
Well, my actual health at my phone actually tells me, based on my weight and my height and my activity, how much calories I use just existing.
Yeah.
Let's see how much I use just being a just existing. So resting energies.
I think mine's under 2,000. I think by a mile. I'm like 1,250.
My system, my thing reckons on average my resting energy. So this is an estimate of the energy your body uses each day while minimally active. Additional physical activity requires more energy. So minimally active. So a bit of like walking, not doing like any running, not doing anything strenuous. It reckons I use 2,500 calories a day minimally active.
Sure.
So if I ate 2,500 calories a day, I'd probably very slowly lose weight.
Yeah. That's a reasonable amount of calories to eat as well.
Yeah, that's what they reckon. That's what they reckon for men. I said those figures are based on averages. Then an average person who's fit and healthy, that's how many should eat per day.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all an average. You've got to do an average. If you go put a bad pay, you've got to put an average on there because it's the only way to. You don't overcomplicate it, people. Because you overcomplicate things, people aren't interested.
Yeah. Just some people have this crazy idea that if they eat less than their average, they're going to die, or that if they don't eat 3 meals a day, they're going to die. And it's like, but what have you done today to justify those 3 meals? And they're like, well, nothing.
It's the average to maintain an average weight. So, I mean, obviously it does depend. So if you're like someone who is, I think it's like these Winter Olympics, sort of like, what's it one when they do they do like skiing, shooting, and bike
I know the one you're on about, but a triathlon.
Yeah, triathlon. Well, they burn about 4,000 calories a day.
Yeah.
So 2,500 calories wouldn't work for them.
No, for sure.
So
but then they are incredibly active.
Exactly. So it's based on what you do. I mean, if you want to go to the Arctic, I dare say people who live in a lot colder climates probably do, have to eat slightly more.
Yeah, sure.
Your body, if it's cold, your body does need more energy to keep warm. We shall say with this.
Yeah.
So that's why he's so thin. So yeah, it is just. And just simple maths. It's simply him being like any other physics engine. If you put energy in, it's got to come out.
Sure.
And if you put less energy in, you'll have a net decrease. It's got to go somewhere, and it gets shut out, and then it's sweated out.
I think also that people horribly overestimate the amount of exercise that they're doing, and horribly underestimate the amount of food that they're eating. I said about the weight challenge that I was doing with my other friend. Right. Yeah. He calculated roughly how much his breakfast was in calories the other day. And it was like, he was like going to McDonald's for his breakfast, and he does this like nearly every other day. And I think he said that the breakfast he had, once we did the maths on it, was around, before the drink, was around 1,200 calories.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was like a fucking triple sausage egg McMuffin, extra hash browns, all this other stuff, and I was just like, that's more than realistically I need to burn in a day, because I think my base burn is only around 1,250, 1,500 calories.
Yeah, which is about right, because you're about half the weight as me. So if mine's 2,500, that's about right. Actually, about half the weight. That's for
sure. So I was like, if I were to sit on my ass all day, which there are times when I do, I was like, if I ate your breakfast or his breakfast, I wouldn't be able to eat anything else over the day, because that'd be just excess calories.
The weird thing is, Skazz, actually, I'm very similar in some ways, because I don't really have breakfast very often. Most days I don't have breakfast. Or if I do, it's usually like toast. It's something quite light.
Sure.
So where my big bugbear is, where most of my calories come from, and it's only really one place. And if I cut this out, it would make a big difference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Coach, that was the same with me. So before my wedding in February, I cut sugar. That was from November through to February. I cut sugar, and I dropped 14 pounds. I dropped several kilos. Just from not drinking sugar, no beer. I was drinking black coffees rather than Cokes and teas loaded with sugar and stuff like that. And I just bled weight.
Yeah.
Nothing else changed. I just binned off sugar, because that sugar is where all of my excess calories are coming from.
Please. That's basically where I said I need to, if I cut that out, I would actually probably lose weight quite quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So
I will be honest, I am actually tempted. So I might do. How long have we got left again for this to go?
2 weeks.
Another 2 weeks. What I might do is say 1 week I'm just going to eat like normal. But I'll tell you what. From now until the end, I can guarantee you, because look at this. Look, I've got takeaway just turned up. So I've not changed my diet, but my diet has probably gotten worse over this 2 weeks than normal. I don't calorie count, but because I do have health issues, I know how my body works, and I know what I need to eat and what I shouldn't eat. But my diet has gotten a lot worse over these last 2 weeks, so I'm not surprised my numbers haven't changed much at all. I will be honest, I have been kind of disappointed in it. But I'll say from this point on, after this takeout, I'll try and be more of a good boy. Because, like I said, I've probably already eaten well over my daily calories today. I think the like the chicken fillets I had today were 600 calories.
I can believe it. Come join us in intermittent fasting, Skazz. Come join us.
If that's the thing, pick the days and I'll do it.
Pick
the days, pick the times, and I'll do it.
You can pick whatever works for you. So you need to pick 16 hours slots in your day. It doesn't matter what time they start, what time it's 16 continuous hours.
Sure.
So I said I'm doing from 8. I'm going to try from 8 p.m. in the evening till 12 midday. That's 16 hours.
Yeah.
But if you do later, do later. You do from like 10 p.m. to 2 o'clock the next day.
Yeah.
You pick 16 hours. You are not allowed to have any calorie intake in those 16 hours. So you can drink tea with no milk, no sugar. You can drink black coffee. You can drink water. That's it. That's all. Everything. But after you get past those times, do whatever you like. Yep. So in my case, between 12 and 8, I can drink as many ciders as I want. I can eat a full steak lunch. Doesn't matter. It's those 16 hours you mustn't eat on.
Okay.
So pick it. Whatever one you want to do, pick it. Just pick a time slot.
We'll look into it after. We'll have a chat after the podcast. We'll work something out and we'll see how it goes. I would like to actually keep this going a bit longer, just so we can see which is more effective. Because I wish we were kind of doing it for another 4 weeks or so that I could say
we can refresh in 2 weeks' time. We can reassess.
So we'll try the intermittent fasting for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Then I'd like to go back to just normal, but bin off sugar. And then if we do another 2-week segment, I'd like to do as normal, but I won't gorge like I have been recently. Because I ain't going to lie, this last 2 weeks I've ate like a fucking pig. And I'd never normally eat this much. We had, it wasn't too long ago. We had a friend come round. Hadn't seen him in a while. Because, social distancing and all that kind of stuff. And literally 2 crates of cider. 2 crates of cider, a takeaway, and I'm like, this is way excessive, even for me. And, when I was a kid, I used to be able to pack away KFC, like, chicken buckets by myself, no problem. Multiples. I'm like, but now I'm in my 30s, I'm a fat old man now. I've got to watch what I eat. But like I said, over this last 2 weeks, everything's been in excess. So we're saying we wanted to gauge how VR is as a health benefits. I would say that I have completely blown this experiment out of the water just because I've gorged more than I have done in recent history. One other thing I should say from doing this little fit test is I think people who play VR games are absolutely full of shit when it comes to how much strain they put on their bodies when they play.
Oh yeah.
I recently picked up The Climb, right, which was the mountain climbing game that you wanted to take a crack at, because it's an exclusive on the Oculus Store, is it not?
It is, yes.
I've been actively buying more games that are Oculus Store exclusives because I've got a Quest 2 on the way. And yeah, and I wanted, so if you buy on the Oculus Store, there are cross-platform games. So if I buy on the Oculus Store and it's on the Rift, it might also be available on the Quest. And so I've been buying games that have cross-buy options, and the Climb is one of them. And I was watching reviews of all these people playing, The Climb, doing this stuff, and they're like, oh yeah, I'm playing a level on like normal difficulty or whatever. So you got easy, normal, and easy, normal, hard, and I think you've got like a hard plus or whatever, expert mode. And it's like, oh yeah, I'm on the normal mode, and I'm gonna do 2 mountains, and he does these 2 climbs. They're about 9 minutes apiece. And he's like, I'm going to do a third one. I was like, oh, I'm really feeling it now. I'm like, you fuck. You barely have to wing you barely have to wing your arms about. You're not having to actually physically pull yourself up. You're not having to tense your muscles. You are literally move your arm to the left, click the trigger, move your arm to your chest. There's nothing. There's no physical exertion there at all. And the guy's like, oh, I'm all sweaty and stuff. I was like, no, you're not. You lying prick.
In my case, it's more like I'm just old and my bones and my legs aren't as supple as they used to be. So, like I said to you before, crouching down is quite a painful experience. Although it's got easier now, since I've been in the squats in VR, it's gotten easier. But crouching down, like, oh, here we go. That's not a, oh, I'm really feeling the burn. It's
I totally get that, but I'm seeing guys younger than me going, oh, I'm sweating. This is a really good workout. I'm like, no, you're lying. Stop telling people that this is actually hard work. Like they're like, oh, I've played Atex Cybernetic and Robo Recall, and I'm sweating buckets. It's like, I could understand you saying you were sweating buckets after 3 hours in VR, but after doing 3 mountains in the climb, go fuck yourself, dude. Like. Yeah. You're not. If you had like a couple Ks of ankle and wrist weights on, maybe. But I mean, I've had a crack at the climb. I've done those mountains. I don't feel a damn thing. I'm like, oh, okay, fair enough. I think the hardest part is literally stretching up really high to grab the extra like handhold. Or
now see, that's an issue I'm going to have with the climb. Because in my office, I haven't got a very tall ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
And I had issues in Half-Life Alyx throwing grenades because I couldn't do an overarm throw. Because if I did an overarm throw, odds are I'd hit my lights.
Yeah, no, I've done that loads. I did that loads in the climb. I would actively, like, if I was using my left hand, I'd just actively punch the light in my room. It's like, oh, yeah. No.
Yeah. It's like, can I do it from a sitting position so like everything gets lowered down a little bit for me?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that would probably have to be something to try because I mean, it's not like you really have to move about that much. Also, no. I imagine it's a lot easier on the Rift S and the Quest and the Quest 2 because of how you can actually move your whole body. You've got full, you've actually got more active tracking around a center point rather than on the regular Rift. It just. Because when you're having to try and look around an object, sometimes it's a little bit wobbly.
Yeah.
But
I can see that.
I've watched many a VR review recently, and there are so many people who really big up how much, sarcastic air quotes, physical activity there is in these games and how much exercise they're getting. I was like, no, you're really horribly overestimating this. You're not playing a game like Box or Fit. So your calorie burn is non-existent. You're barely doing anything at all. I mean, you could literally stand there and just rock left and fucking right for 20 minutes and get more of a workout than what you're doing right now.
Yeah. Guys, you're going to have to take this for a second because I desperately need a way.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. There you go.
You just carry on talking about Rift games.
Ram's just going to disappear. That's going to be fan-the-fucking-tastic. But, I've started to really enjoy doing this whole fitness shtick in VR. So much so. Hang on, let me just grab it. So I don't know if people can see, but I got so into doing this that I've actually gone and bought new facial interfaces for my VR headset. Because normally these things come with like a foam insert. And that's one thing I will say. When you are in VR, regardless of what you're doing, you could just literally sit there with the headset on your face. You'll sweat. You'll itch and you will sweat and it's unpleasant. So I actually wanted to do this whole fitness thing right. And I bought facial interface replacements from VR Cover. Only trouble is they come from... where is it? Is it Thailand? So it takes absolutely decades for him to turn up. And now the Quest 2 is coming out. I was like, well, fuck, man. I'm never going to be able to get a facial interface for that. It's going to take fucking eons. However, bonus to the Quest 2, not so much related to the fact for the fitness thing. Completely wireless VR, man. That's going to be badass. I can't wait. I can't wait to try it.
Good.
So
I've no idea what you're talking about, but good.
Facial interfaces, Ram.
Oh,
because of the whole
Track IR.
No, not Track IR. Where are we? So you gave me my Rift, and it comes with a random foam insert, doesn't it, around the face?
Yes.
And so what I ended up doing, because as I've just said to people, like, no matter what it is you do in VR, you could just literally sit there with the headset on. You are going to sweat, and that headset is going to absorb because things get warm in those headsets.
Yes.
Even if you just sat there watching porn, things are getting warm and they're getting wet. So
switching headsets between people is a little bit
not pleasant. You know, you're not hardcore out of breath. You've not hardcore done the exercise. It just gets fucking warm in those things. And I know I've been told that
they've got to be tight to your face so it doesn't move, so it sweats.
And I've been told that when you use the Quest, those things get warm because obviously all the processing and that's in the front of the headset. So it's even worse. You sweat even more. So I was like, I realistically, I'd like something I could wipe down. And then if someone else is going to use it, then, well, I can either change the front, change the piece that interfaces to you, so they've got something clean, or if I'm doing, like, if I do a session in box, I don't want to go, here you go, guys, let's play some fucking ATEX Cybernetic, or let's play some Half-Life Alyx, and they put on this sweaty, gammy fucking headset. Yeah. I was like, oh, that's going to be grim. So yeah, I bought replacement faux leather facial interfaces for the Rift, and I'm going to order a set for the Quest, and just so then that way I can wipe the damn things down and all that. So I mean, you know, if I do something in box, take off my headset, and I think, you know what, half an hour later, I want to have a go on this other random game. I'm like, oh, this is grim.
It's like, it's the equivalent of, you know, when you've like been out for a long day, you've got home, you've got slightly sweaty socks, they don't feel too bad. You take them off. If you'd have to put them back on a minute later, because like, oh, hang on, I shouldn't have took those off just yet. They're horrible.
Yeah, or like when you've gone out and you've gone out for a long walk or whatever, and I don't know, your boots have got wet. I can remember I went for a cycle. Do you remember? I asked you to talk to the guys that we were having a meeting with, and I was like I might not get back in time, and I had to cycle all the way from the next village over back home, and it was all tall grass, like 6 foot grass. My boots were soaked through. There was water in my boots. So take my boots off, you know, empty them out. But later on, I needed to. There wasn't a problem until I took my boots off. I was like, okay, that's not too bad. Put my boots back on. I was fucking miserable. Yeah, absolutely miserable.
Yeah, same if you play wet. If you have a wet shirt, if it's been raining, take your shirt off, you put it back on. Whatever reason, it's like, oh, that feels awful.
Yeah, grim as fuck.
Yeah.
VR is much, much worse because chances are it's not your juices all over the facial interface. It's like, oh, yeah, great. Nice one, mate.
I would say that's a brilliant term for a bit of foam.
Yeah.
I just said, the hardware facial interface.
That's what they call it here.
It's something out Star Trek, doesn't it?
That's what they call it. Foam. It's a facial interface and foam replacement. So, yeah. I mean, I've had to wait for ages for these. I ordered these like about probably 2-3 weeks ago, maybe more. They've only just arrived. I was like, you fucking bastards.
I've not changed mine. I just like let it dry out between sessions.
Sure. Well, I found that at times, it got a bit uncomfortable. So I figured I'd go for something a bit thicker. You know, it's all good. I'm really looking forward to the Quest 2 though at the moment.
Bet you are.
Just because
I'm just really amazed. I thought myself when I bought that Rift over, I thought I went to go have a go at this. I wonder how I'm going to. I thought I think I'll enjoy it, but you've got out there, you've gone bought yourself, you're buying yourself a Quest 2. I mean, I say splash out. Quest is actually quite cheap.
Yeah. Oh god. Yeah. Well, I went for the top end one though.
All right.
I went for the like £400, I think.
Still cheap.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for a VR headset. Yeah.
For brand spanking new VR headset that blows pretty much everybody else at the water. Perhaps I have you compared the specs to the Index?
It's the same.
Yeah.
The screen wise, resolution power eye is the same.
What about the construction choice? Because the Index has got full.
Oh no! It's basically the same kind of groove as you've got in the original Rift. You know, it's the standard Rift touch control. It's the same thing you got in the Rift S.
Having said that, the extra digit thing is cool,
but unnecessary.
Yeah,
really unnecessary. I think it's probably more of a comfort thing because the index knuckles wrap around the hand to hold in place, so you're not actually actively gripping You're not having to actively hold the things all the time. But all in, the thing I find most exciting about it is literally the fact that it will enable me to do full desktop VR wirelessly. Yeah. And the only thing I have to worry about is maybe a latency increase of around 30 to 40 milliseconds.
Well, 34 milliseconds. That's probably. I think that's something that's just noticeable.
It is.
Yeah,
it is.
I think that's probably bearable. I think.
Yeah, well, it's pretty much the same delay as what you'd get if you were playing a console on a television set.
Yeah.
So.
I've just realised a bit. I've not been paying attention to the chat.
Okay.
And he says he's got a co-worker who keeps track of their internal calories on an app on their phone.
Mm-hmm.
And Solid Techer says, "How does they call toilet seat?" I think is what do they call a toilet seat? I think it's referring to your.
That is an anal interface phone replacement.
Yeah.
Yes. But
and not surely it's an anal comfort interface phone.
Yes, that is very much yes, that is right. We should put that on the market and
individually molded.
Fucking memory foam toilet seat covers, but so it molds nicely to you. Oh, there you go, nice and comfortable because you can sit there for hours.
Perhaps you could buy it like sort of Japanese toilets. As you sort of approach it, like recognise you, just like changes the shape.
Like a high tech, the future of toilet seats. You know, you've got the smart toilet with the camera looking at you as you walk up to the toilet. It recognises your face and then changes the layout of the seat.
Yeah. And then after you're done, it goes, "Congratulations, you did a 1.2 kilo one today."
Yeah, that's it. Like fucking, oh mate.
Yeah.
You know those
that was a bit loose. Have you been on the chilies again?
You know those things like the Santa Claus things that sing when you walk past them kind of thing. They play like Christmas carols.
Yeah.
The motion sensing things. Well, I can remember once I went to someone's house who had put one of those in the toilet, and I made the joke. I said, "Fucking, I can just imagine now. If only I could have changed that to say, ho, 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 what a big dump." That would have been gold.
Because, you get those Japanese toilets that have, like, all the control buttons, and they, like, have an thing that squirts and that sort of stuff. They're heated and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, the rich person's toilet.
Yeah. Yeah, you can actually buy those. You can go on Amazon, you can go and buy this if you want. They're only 400 quid.
Only 400 quid. Mate, I could shit in a hole in the ground for free.
Or Rift.
I'll take the Rift, mate.
Yeah.
I can go take a crap in VR.
Oh yeah, there you go. But I think Ark's on VR soon, so there you go.
Well, that literally is just crapping yourself the game.
Exactly. So yeah, but they've got a mode. One of the features they have on them is they can play music. And I said that sounds like a really nice idea. It's all cover the noise, but the trouble is, as soon as someone goes to the toilet, you hear music playing. You know instantly what they're doing.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
Or they play some like 70s porno music.
Yeah.
But
no, if you've had it could do like feet. You could have like different playlists. So if you've been eating a lot of spicy food, you can play Johnny Cash's "It Burns, Burns, Burns" the Ring of Fire.
That'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
No, I reckon it should pick the song based on the face that you're making. That would be gold. But yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I did suffer with a bit of VR burnout.
All right.
But that's mainly because as my PC started to play up, and I had to start moving the stuff over to the laptop, and then disconnecting it, reconnecting it, disconnecting, reconnecting. It was so much effort just to get into VR. I was just like, all I want to do is I just want to play, which is why I'm kind of glad that I've got the Quest 2 coming. So I'm like, that's completely PC free. It's mobile hardware. Because I've got stuff like the Climb on PC and on Quest now, I've got a funny feeling I am literally just going to pick up the Quest 2, stick it on my head, and be done with it. The PC VR be damned.
I'm going to be totally honest with you, Skazz. Okay? I'll be totally honest with you. I had the same issue with the Rift. It was quite fast to set up and calibrate, and if you knock the sensor, you'd have to reset it up again, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Since I've had my Rift S, and this is probably not an exaggeration, I've probably put more hours into that Rift S since I've had it than I probably put into the original Quest.
Oh wow. So what would you say your main games are for VR? Are there any games that you would say you regularly go to? Have you completed many VR games or
VR games I've completed, not that many actually. Most recent one was obviously Alex. I completed that literally the day after we did because I finished that off. Really good with an ending.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I've completed a couple others. But most of the games I tend to play in VR were equivalents of like box VR, so quick.
Yeah.
Pick up and go type
A bit of Beat Saber, a bit of box.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to be honest with Skazz, I probably put less than the whole time I owned that Rift. I doubt I put anywhere near 100 hours into it.
Wow.
If that.
I mean, I'd say for me, I've probably put in about 50.
Yeah.
Already. But for me, that's a lot.
Yeah. So when I first had the Rift, the room I was in was really, it didn't have a lot of depth. So I had movement left and right, but no real depth.
Yeah.
That meant I couldn't get my senses far enough back. So I actually probably had, when we first set your Rift up, I actually probably had a smaller play space in your Rift.
Yeah.
So that was just really awkward. And again, if it got knocked. And when I got into here, although I then had the space, I actually I'd had a couple of back experiences of the Rift giving me motion sickness at that point. That put me off it. So it was only because I got the Rift S, decided to upgrade and give it another go. I thought I've got the Rift S, it's got better tracking and so forth. That might, and it has to a certain alleviate a lot of my problems I had with the Rift. So I've probably put more time into the Rift S than I have did into the Rift.
Yeah.
I ain't really got that many VR games. I've probably got like 15 VR games.
I think I had more VR games than you did, and I didn't even have a VR headset.
Yeah, I can believe it. I mean, if I quick look at how many VR games I've got. Sort by VR. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. 21 VR games. If I knock out the ones that were VR only, as in ones that my game I've already got that had VR support. One. Well, ones I bought for VR is probably a better thing to say. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Probably only 5 like VR only games on there.
Right.
Well, VR's just like VR games with VR modes.
I've got 32 VR games on Steam. I would say probably take 5 or 6 of those off. Because there are like other games that have VR modes in them. Although personally, I would say don't take off stuff like Elite Dangerous because fuck, mate, like VR makes Elite Dangerous. I still need to get a HOTAS. I'm hoping.
But the reason I'm not Elite Dangerous off of mine is because when I bought Elite Dangerous to play as Elite Dangerous, I didn't buy it for VR.
Yeah.
So games that I bought because they're VR, I bought for VR purposes.
Yeah.
A lot of the games on there have VR modes I didn't buy for VR reasons.
Yeah. I mean, I really wanted to play Elite Dangerous with VR with a HOTAS. Let's see. Can I see?
I can confirm it's fucking amazing.
I'm now right. So I've now loaded up my Oculus account, although it's not going to show me everything. This is just stuff that I bought cross-play. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 games there on cross-buy on Quest. So, and I've got some other games that aren't cross-buy, so they are just in the Oculus store. But yeah, I've got quite a few VR games. I'm not sport for VR choice.
No. No. I think actually VR's got VR's getting better now because there are more. For a long time, the developers who were developing for VR, there were people who saw just testing the waters, doing what I call quite basic games.
Yeah, they were trash. Yeah, I've played some of the trash games. They look nice, but they have no mechanics to them at all. The mechanics to them are so bad, it would be like playing a Gen 1 first-person shooter, and even they were better than what we're playing now.
I think we've got to accept that when VR first came out, people didn't really know how. So it's interesting when you go back and play the early VR games. It's funny how we don't think about it now. When we buy a new like shooter, there's lots of things that are standardized that we don't think about. But actually, if you go back 20, 30 years, a lot of those things weren't there, didn't exist.
And
whilst they haven't come up with standards yet. So I think VR's in that little bit of state. If you buy the early ones, no one's quite decided how they're going to standardize it.
See, I think my problem with early VR titles, or some of the VR titles that I have played, are that, so for example, Atex Cybernetic. I like Atex Cybernetic, even if it's written like trash. But the AI in it is thick as two short planks. Like, there's no effort, there's no challenge in it at all. I die in that game because I'm not paying attention, not because the enemies are smart. And because the enemies are so thick, it becomes boring and repetitive because it's almost like I'm going back and playing Doom. Like, original Doom. Not Doom 2016, not Doom with Brutal Doom mods or anything, just literally Doom. And on easy mode, too, so everything's moving at, like, half speed. Because... I'm like, you know, there are other things that you could be doing in a fucking shooter, and none of this is so stale. You've given me all these fancy things I can do. Look, I can juggle guns, and I can do this, and I can do that, and I can throw grenades and pick stuff up and all that, like beat things to death with other items. But it's mostly just waggle controls or just point in a general direction, and you've killed everything, and enemies just bum rush you. There's no grace or threat to them.
I think a fair concept of early VR games, they fell into two categories, really. They had, I'm an indie dev, VR is a cool idea, I'm going to use my limited resources to make as best I can, or which might not be very good at all, a VR game, which generally, their issue there is they haven't got the resources to make, you know, super cool ID VR weapon. Or, we're a mainstream publisher, VR is possibly a new thing. But we don't want to go too mad in case of it. So let's just get a small team, we'll give them some resources, but not our full might behind it, or a decent team fight, and just we'll dip our toe in the water. And what you end up with is another game. So you've got one side, you've got games that are potentially got some quite interesting mechanics, but I say are basic AI, pretty shit free, basic free, whatever. The other side, you've probably got games that look quite nice, but also suffer things like a little bit of polish is missing. Or again, AI is probably the thing that suffers the most. They haven't quite worked out how to make it work with VR. So there's a lot of toes in the water. I think what's happened in the last few years is now bigger publishers are going, actually, VR's it's got more widespread, it's more of a thing. We're prepared now. Because there is, if you're making a VR-only game, you're cutting off the majority of the market of actual gamers out there. I mean, we're not talking, it's not even a console exclusive. It's worse than that because VR is an expensive thing, and at the time you needed a PC to play it. So you've got people who are have got to have the mighty powerful machines to play VR, and B, are willing to spend extra money on a VR headset. So that's a very limited market. So were you going to throw your resources? No, you weren't. Hell no. So
but I think the problem is though we still have. I don't think Atex Cybernetics are actually that old. But in some points,
main publisher or no?
I think it's a smaller publisher. Look. There's only so much you can let go for a small publisher. That's what you give away for shit writing. But the fact that the enemies are droning fucking idiots, and I understand that in the game they are literally they're just zombies, you know, vat-grown zombies. But you know, there are times when literally I just stand there and I will hold my gun like that. You know, I'll hold my control pad in front of my face, or sometimes I just literally hold it as if I'm looking at the end of my gun and I just pull the trigger, because the enemies will always run in straight to the middle of my viewpoint. And so I'm not even having to aim. I can just stand here and pull the trigger. Oh, look, the enemy's gone. Put my hand back to my side to reload. Back up to my chin. Pull the trigger, pull the trigger, pull the trigger, pull the trigger. There's nothing there. There's just nothing. You know, it looks fantastic. And like sometimes even puts you into like a Doom-esque arena. But when you realise how thick the enemies are, it's like, well, I'm just going to stand in this corner and fire. There was no, you know, it was style over substance all the way. And you really need, if you're going to do a shooter, for fuck's sake. Most of this stuff, like even Billy Bob basic free-to-play stuff from fucking Korea, whoops the shit out of most first-person shooters these days. Just because it's in VR doesn't mean you have an excuse to make shit AI.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, I know they're not putting a shit ton of resources into this kind of stuff, but I mean...
No.
You know, really, at least make it a reasonable experience. Give me a reason to want to come back to your game.
I think we're starting to see that more now. We are starting to see more and more publishers actually saying now VR, because VR's got to over that hump now where actually a good chunk of game PCs can run a VR headset.
Oh yeah, you can do that now for about $400.
Exactly. We've got in laptops. I mean, we were running that VR. We were running when we first set that Rift up. We were running off the laptop.
Yeah. Well. In fairness, my laptop was bought as VR ready.
But what I'm saying is that we've got over that initial hump now of hardware issue, where so you've now bought more mainstream market and the price has dropped.
Well, yeah.
As well. So
I mean, because you got to think this laptop's a couple of years old. Yeah. And this was a pretty standard laptop back when I bought it.
Yeah.
But now you can literally go out and buy a £400 PC and play VR.
Yeah. We've got it's now into the hands, and now with the Quest 2 coming out only £300.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's frankly insane. That price amazes me to the day how you've got this thing that blows the Rift S out of the water, is comparable with the Index apart from the touch controls, and it's £300.
Yeah.
That's
mental,
insane.
isn't it?
That's cheaper than a new console.
Fully wireless VR if you're willing to set it up.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, just that.
A base station, the wireless station for the Vive, the original Vive, was about the same price as the Quest 2.
Yeah.
Just the wireless dongle that went onto the back of the headset. And now you're just like, well, I've got the headset and I've got 5 gigahertz or a Wi-Fi 6 router. Straight away, I'm in wireless VR.
But what we've seen is the early adopter syndrome has now started to go.
Yeah.
So it's the same with any new hardware. Everybody's aware of it, whether it's DVDs or CDs or any new hardware comes out, or VHS when they first came out.
Yeah.
They were expensive. There were hundreds of pounds. I mean, I think the first DVD player was something like £700.
Yeah.
That was the PlayStation 2. One of its big things was that it played DVDs.
Yeah.
It was the cheapest DVD player on the market.
It was the same with the PlayStation 3. It was the most versatile Blu-ray player on the market. I mean, you were at one point you were paying more for a standalone Blu-ray player than you were the PlayStation 3. So
yeah. And people were saying that, if you've got a Blu-ray, I mean, I remember when reading about the PlayStation 2, some people were saying, well, if you've got a DVD player equivalent price to the PlayStation 2, it is probably slightly better, but it can't play PlayStation 2 games.
Yeah, for sure.
So actually, and I think that's part of the reason why I think did PlayStation 2 so well, is the fact that it was a DVD player. We certainly used to use it as a DVD player. We didn't have a DVD player until we got a PS2.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're now seeing that we've got over the early adoption syndrome.
Yeah.
And we're now starting. I think you get within the next VR is going to go from still relative niche.
Yeah.
At the moment, I reckon 5 years time, VR is going to be fairly common.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, for PC games, I think most PCs will have some sort of VR headset.
Well, look at the way things are now. The Quest 2 has even been geared to office workers through Facebook. They're like, yeah, don't worry about it. We've got it now so that you can pair a keyboard to it, so you can have full-on meetings and shit like that in VR. You don't have to have an office space. Just literally sit down, pull your headset down, put your keyboard on a table in front of you. Bam, there you go. You're in the meeting. You're typing away.
Well, I could see a great thing for the Quest 2. My company I work for, we design kitchens. We design 3D kitchens. Wouldn't it be great if we could do a design for you give us your measurements, do a design for your kitchen, say, here you go, come over to our little holodeck area
and walk around.
Pop on this VR headset, you can walk around your kitchen. Here's a touch controller, open the drawers, open the doors.
Yep.
You can walk around your kitchen. How amazing would that be?
Yeah, I mean, and you got to think as well, entirely wireless.
You probably need one per store, additionally. Because you only need one person to have a look. Maybe a couple per store, so a couple, because people tend to buy in pairs max. A couple per store, they can both put it on, have a little wander around their new kitchen.
Yeah, and I mean,
that'd be cool.
They're cheap enough. I see so many opportunities for VR. I mean, I have been tempted. I'm thinking to myself, you know what? Because I've got a Facebook account for VR. Admittedly, it is my main Facebook account, but I have a different account that isn't connected to like millions of people. And I'm going to be using that for my VR. I could just imagine just sitting there occasionally, just putting on my headphones, putting on my headset, and just like watching a film.
Well, you can do that on Oculus already, can't you?
Yeah, you can. You can just load up Netflix or whatever. But I mean, like the idea that I can just go, well, you know, I'm just going to pull my Quest 2 out of my bag or whatever. I'm just going to pop it on my head and just go, rather than having to be near my laptop or my PC that can already play a film on a telly, because obviously they're going to be connected up to big old monitors. I can just go, well, I don't know, I'm sat upstairs. I'm just gonna put on a film, and rather than.
What about things like people who've got to do like full physical therapy? So people having like chemotherapy who've got to sit there for 2-3 hours, doing nothing. Being able to like pop a VR headset, be able to actually watch a film, and actually because it's sort of like all encompassing, it's all like takes you.
It gives you the immersion. It immerses you.
You can lose yourself a little bit. Be able to just like sit back and relax and. Even like watch nature scenes or watch a film or something like that, or even have a control in one hand, like have a little wander around like some VR environment. Why have you? I just want
to throw out there. There's one thing in VR that a lot of people are creeped out about, and I understand because I'm very privacy. I have been very mental about privacy online and with your PC and all that, and I've kind of thrown that out the water since I went VR, because obviously I've signed up for a Facebook account and all that kind of stuff. But I would like to see full face and eye tracking in VR, and there's a reason for it. So I have a few friends who have some pretty serious medical conditions where they can't actually physically move,
right?
And they only really have the ability to use their eyes. And I would like to be able to see them use eye tracking to be able to move around in a VR world.
I vaguely think I've read something. I have a vague, very vague, I may have either dreamed this or read this a little while back. I vaguely think Valve are looking into doing that with VR.
I think Facebook have said they're looking into it too, and they're also, is it EEG stuff, so that you can literally control basic movements in VR through basically you're supposed to be concentrating or whatever on certain things to get the headset to do certain motions. But I would love to see that kind of thing in a rehab environment, or just to give someone a little bit of extra freedom in a world that they can't explore the real world because they're not well. You know,
I to go for a walk somewhere. Actually,
and that's entirely it. I mean, I look at myself some days and I think, you know, we're doing this fitness challenge and I'm kind of taking the piss because I know there's going to come a day, and probably in the near future, where all of a sudden I'm just going to pack up. I am not a very well guy. I might look reasonably healthy, but I'm not a very well guy. And I think VR is going to be a godsend when I do finally pack up, because, you know, I ain't going to be able to do what I do for very much longer. Not to bring everything down, but like, you know, I've got duff knees, I've got duff back, you know, my heart's not great. And I think to myself, you know what, it would be so great just to be able to continue to just go out on these little jaunts, on these little adventures, but not actually fuck up my physical body any more than I already have done.
Yeah.
To be able, the idea of playing something like Elite Dangerous, Euro Truck Simulator, something like that, with a hands-on throttle and stick, or a wheel, or something like that, something to give me proper immersion and not have to go anywhere. It's fan-fucking-tastic. Because that's one thing I'm going to be honest. I miss driving. I really miss driving. I haven't been able to drive since 2016. I would love to get back. I would love to be able to get back on the road. So the idea of being able to do something like that in VR would be fantastic.
Yeah. I keep saying, Skazz, you need to get yourself Euro Truck up and running. Get yourself I've got a spare wheel somewhere. Get us this up.
Ram.
We can go off tracking somewhere.
Ram. I looked at. I was going to get a wheel the other day.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for Prime Day, because Prime Day is in a couple of days, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm going to see if any of that stuff goes on sale. So if I can get a cheap HOTAS or and a cheap wheel, then I will literally get myself a little setup.
I think if you want a cheap hotess, I think the X52 is quite a decent one, but quite cheap.
I think I looked at the X53, was it? From what used to be Tech, now Logitech?
There's two, I think it's the X50. I think there's two versions of the X52. You've got the normal X52, I think the X52 Pro, unless they've just launched something new.
Sure.
And they're like the cheaper end HOTAS.
Yeah.
So, but they're still pretty decent.
Yeah, I think one of my mates has got one.
Yeah, 12 joysticks, there's a lot of shit out there.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
And I think they're one of the cheapest end ones. But yeah, mate, I would love to be able to have us go trucking somewhere.
That'd be fantastic. Just go for a little drive. I mean, I bought a bunch of driving games, probably like last year, because I was like, I just want to go driving again. You know, I'd love to do a track day or something. And then when you said about the Rift, and I was like, I keep on putting off buying VR and a steering wheel. I was like, do it. And you know, as you say, if you want to do it, we'll go for a drive.
Yeah, we'll do. I need to get my steering wheel back out and try Euro Truck with a steering with a VR headset and see what that's like.
That'd be fantastic.
Yeah,
I would stream that. I'd just become a Euro Truck streamer, just driving around.
Yeah. Just drive across. Yeah. I'm not sure I put my gear stick because my HOTAS takes up unfortunately, I've got quite a lot of peripherals now. It all take up quite a bit of space.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my HOTAS could kill somebody if I hit him with it.
No, I was going to say your HOTAS is pretty meaty. You've got the Warthog, right?
Yeah, the Warthog.
Fucking hell.
It's awesome though. Once I can't wait to try it. I'm gonna grab myself an Xbox Pass and get MechWarrior on it because that's gonna be so awesome. Fancy my mech going.
I wouldn't support VR. Will it's gone through the Microsoft store.
No, it doesn't. No, even the base games, normal games, doesn't support VR.
That's lame.
It's bizarre. They don't.
That's really lame.
That's such an obvious thing to put in it.
Yep.
So they don't. It's really sad.
We'll have to play Elite Dangerous and.
Yeah, Elite Dangerous. We need to do a little test stream of our Halloween game.
Yes, you know what? We need to play. We need to do a VR chat episode.
We do
for a laugh.
Yeah, I tried to set up VR chat and I had a lot of trouble with it.
Really? So, I haven't launched it yet. So
it basically said, "Oh, okay. Have you got a VR chat account? No. You can sign with VR chat account, or if you want, you can sign with your Steam account because it is on Steam. Okay, I'll try sign with Steam account. Error. Try again. Error. Look at the message. Oh no, it doesn't work with Steam accounts. Actually, sometimes actually doesn't work with anything apart from VR chat accounts. You try and sign with anything else, you've got you might as well roll a dice and roll a D100 and hope you roll a 1. That's the chance of actually getting in with a different account name. So apparently it's not very. You have to use their account system.
Fantastic.
So,
I've just had a look on Amazon for a Logitech X56 HOTAS. It's 220 quid. Out of stock until January 31st. Go fuck yourselves.
I honestly thought I think I'd say out of stock to January 2030.
Yeah, out of stock until New Year's Eve 2021.
Yeah, so that's very specific.
It's like, goddamn.
And you're going to order it, and then what's going to happen? You'll be out getting drunk on New Year's Eve, and the message is going to come through. Your HOTAS has been dispatched.
No, like, fucking finally! I would go back home shit-faced, only to vomit in VR.
You get the message come through. We tried to place the order for your HOTAS. Unfortunately, there wasn't enough funds in your account. Oh, I forgot about that. I do leave the money here. You quickly go back. It's like, out of stock until New Year's Eve 2022.
Mate, I've had that happen recently. I put in an order for something. I put in an order for something that was supposed to turn up in like 2 weeks' time. I cancelled it, transferred I realised I actually had some funds elsewhere, put back in the order, so, oh yeah, you're going to have to wait for a couple months now. I was like, you motherfuckers! Oh well.
Oh well. Oh well.
Can't wait for that Quest 2, mate. I really want to try wireless VR, like fully wireless VR.
Yeah, I can, because that is still that bit that sort of concerns you when you're particularly, even now, even a game like first person shooter, you've got a bit of space you'll go, and also you'll feel that cable and you go, oh,
yeah,
I bet I really need to turn a little bit more left to reach the target, but I'm going to go turn right all the way round. So
I'm just going to spin on the spot for a couple of minutes just to untangle myself.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, actually, it's just my top tip that I discovered. If you want to do room scale VR and you have the issue of, over the course of playing a game, you find yourself wandering towards an edge, then have to do some sort of little reset. So if the game hasn't got any functionality to allow you that reset, for example, in Half-Life Alyx, when you pause it, it shows you the center of your play space on the floor, so you can just walk back over to it.
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah, and then and what's even better, when I unpause it, it moves the game. So let's say you're in a corner of a room, you walk to the center. When you unfreeze it,
you're still in that
corner. Yeah,
fantastic.
Really nice little feature. So I was doing this. I mean, I'm terrible for always walking to the corners of the room of my VR, because you do when you have things. I discovered all she did was got a carpet tile, put that at the center of my play space, stood on it, and caused my feet can feel the carpet and can feel they step off it instantly without even having to think about it. Solved all my problems.
There you go.
It's just because your brain just I've moved, and it just recenters you back on.
Yep.
So, top tip, if you want a room scale, you don't want to risk going towards the edges, put something in the middle of the room, a rug that's roughly sort of not the whole, obviously you want a bit bigger, but then that gives you a bit of feeling warning, like a blind person. Gives you a bit of a feel when you're getting about to walk into the road.
Yeah.
In this case, when you're about to hit your Guardian system.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you, I've turned off the Guardian system on mine. I've got no room to move at all in this room. None. Unless I stand perfectly rigid with my controls.
Don't worry about it.
If I move my arms, unless my arms are to my sides, as soon as I move my arms up towards my face, even without stretching my arm out, the Guardian's on, because I've literally got a couple of feet in front and behind, and the Guardian is always on, saying, "Careful, you're gonna hit something." It's like, I'm not walking, I'm just moving my fucking arms.
I have had that issue where when I play Elite Dangerous, because my HOTAS is on my desk, but my guard system is set up so that it avoids the desk.
Yes.
If I have my HOTAS on, I sit down on my controls. It
instantly comes up with
forward,
that annoys the shit out of me.
Yeah,
it really does.
So I actually have to I solved it by literally slightly cutting into the desk by about a few inches.
Yeah.
On the VR, and that then stops that because it's just that little bit of a lean forwards.
Yeah.
And it avoids it. Cool.
Good stuff. We're going to go driving soon.
Yeah. Driving in my car.
Do you have any concerns about, privacy in VR and stuff like that? Because I know a lot of people are freaking out about Facebook having to use a Facebook account to use the Quest 2. Not happy about it.
Wow. Let's be honest, we could see that all coming, given that's a VR.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway,
it's
not. No, I'm not. It's these days. If you have any sort of online account of anybody, you're basically deciding your life out to a nightmare.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure.
So, what's that phrase you use? Privacy is dead. Get over it.
Yeah, that's it.
That's me. If you go unless if you don't want to give away your data, just don't
use the internet. The only way you can't. The only way. Because I did say that to my wife. Because initially I was completely against smart home stuff, and I'm like, realistically, I'm QQing about all this stuff, but I've got a phone in my pocket with an always-on microphone. Yeah,
which tracks you wherever you go.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, we've got the worst offender in our pockets, so at this point, you can't win. I picked up a device recently, right, and it literally said to me, "By the way, we know when you're in the vicinity of the device because we're beaking out with ultrasonic. We're just beaking out ultrasonic sound waves all the time. You can't hear them. Don't worry about it. But the device will be able to tell when you're in the vicinity. So the options that it gives you will change based on where you are." And I was like, okay,
that's interesting.
Scary.
I mean, in a lot of cases, this privacy stuff, the way I say it's realistic, they use it to target advertising at the end of the day, and frankly, half the time the stuff advertised to me, I can't need. It's like, actually, I did need a desktop power supply, so although I'm frequently advertising to me, I actually can't need one. So yeah,
I'm a little bit more concerned if I had to be honest with health tracking. Because I've got a friend with a smartwatch that literally tracks absolutely everything they do. And I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Well.
I was like, if you lived in America, there's no way in fuck you'd get insurance.
Well, there was a lot of concern when the Human Genome Project completed, and they got to the stage where they can now sequence DNA, and that's right, they can now sequence it very quickly now.
Mm-hmm.
What took them like years before, they can now do like an afternoon because it's more powerful. There was a fear that, actual fact, as we discover like more gene indicators that you're going to have health problems, it's just going to find its way fall into the hands of medical companies, you know, insurance companies. Are they going to, if you want to take insurance out of a certain company, they're going to demand you give them a DNA sample, and they're going to tell and say, actually, we look at it, you've got a really high probability of getting, I don't know, diabetes type 2 when you're in your 50s. We won't insure you against that. I mean, over here in the UK, it's obviously, or any other socialised health system, not really that big a problem because you'd be covered regardless. In fact, actually quite beneficial. Like, okay, you're really prone to X, Y, Z. Here's what we can do to try and avoid it.
Yeah, sure.
So I can sort of see that, but I could see it being a scary thing if you were in that situation with like DNA or just in general. I mean, I think privacy, as Ali said here, if you use our privacy, give it everything, go live in a cave.
Yep.
Everything you do, every time you use a debit card, every time, you can't get away that you're giving data to somebody.
It doesn't take a lot to poison the pool.
Yeah, and in most cases, the data that's being taken isn't being used for. It's being used for Sky purposes, but being used for different. There are some bad companies out there.
It isn't, but I hate to use the example of putting religion on the census. You know, once upon a time, that wasn't considered a bad idea until someone else turns up that you don't like, starts using that information, and then you're stuffed.
Then it comes down to who has the data. I think what's all out there depends. There should be a certain degree of anonymization of data. So using data like tired advert at you, actually, I don't have a lot of problems with because that's what advertising's always done. Yeah. You know, advertising's always gone well. Odds are people, let's face it, if you want to advertise, a restaurant in the middle of Lowestoft, you're not going to post up in Birmingham, are you?
No, for sure.
What you always just know is you can now target it down to an individual. But in most of the cases, you see, it's all just generalized anyway. It's to a certain extent, it's like, hey, you just hit these 3 buttons here. It's not like saying, hey, that's, Stephen Daniels over there. He specifically likes this. It's like, okay, your account's flat, has picked up these things. Oh, I'm just going to feed you. People like you tend to like this. People who have these things flat, go to these places, tend to like this thing. I'll just send it to you. There's a certain degree of separation there. It's where it gets dangerous is when companies, like you say, sort of like might start using it for more nefarious purposes. So I think we sort of Cambridge Analytica.
Yeah, or like look at all the times when people like Alexa isn't always recording you, and then shit happens in your house, and all of a sudden it's being used in court.
Yeah, supposedly. Yeah, I think at the end of the day, it's a balance between convenience and Italy, and I think for a lot of people, actually, the convenience
outweighs the
yeah.
I mean, it's getting to the point now where it's actually harder to find, to find and do things that are more privacy focused. Like it's harder now. Can I buy a TV that ain't a smart TV? Well, I can, but it's a piece of shit and it's overpriced. Or I could buy, Can
I just point out my complaint with not wanting to have a smart TV isn't because of the fact that it tracks data. It's because smart TVs are shit.
No, I agree. I agree. I would rather have a separate. Yeah. I would rather have a separate device hooked up to my TV to give me smart style features.
Yeah.
The only good thing about the average smart TV is now that the screen is bigger, the resolution is bigger, the screen quality is better, but the interface on the system on majority of smart TVs is absolute fucking horse shit. And the fact of the matter is, you're gonna have it for 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years maybe. By the time, well, that's a security risk if it lasts, which it probably won't, right?
I think most will change these days. Change the TV every 2 to 3 years. I can't think most will have the TV for 10 years.
Well, our TV on the walls over a decade old.
Yeah, but you're definitely on the outer edge.
No, I understand that, but it's like, but most TVs don't last that long anyway. But the trick is that you've now got TVs that even just to change the input, as updates are installed on the smart TVs, they get slower, and it's just literally you're changing an input on the telly, and it's a slog. So all I want to do is go from HDMI 1 to HDMI 2, and I've just had to wait 10 minutes and made a cup of tea.
Yeah, that's my big issue. We've got a smart TV, and like you press the mute button, and a second or two later it mutes. Like, do you know back in the day, infrared, that'd be instant.
Mm-hmm.
Why have you what extra steps have you put in there? Why that when it was a hardware control thing, it was instant. Why have you put that into software?
What it's had to do is write to its log that you're muting it, so it wants to know exactly when you're doing it, what you were watching.
Yeah, exactly. Well, fine, do that after you mute it. Don't do write to the log. Contact Amazon, tell him he's doing this. Contact Netflix, tell him they're doing this. Contact Bob, who happens for some reason owns shares in this TV company, and tell him he's doing this. Then we'll mute it. No, mute it. Then tell Amazon, Netflix, Bob. That's
do it the right way, motherfuckers.
Yeah, that's fine. It's like our TV. There must be some wake up command. So if you aim at it and press the up volume button, nothing happens for about half a second. Then once that then it comes up and starts the voice of cigar.
Yeah, because it's gone into low power mode.
But then, but it's like, come on now. How much power does a remote use?
Yeah.
How much power? I mean, the joke about modes, remote batteries used to last for years.
Mm-hmm.
It's only transmits. How much power is an IR and infrared receiver? Sod all. Just have it on. Don't just the facts. Right, Sony, if you're listening, if that's your reasoning, it saves a bit of power by doing that. Right. Give your TV an actual off button. I can't switch your TV off. There's no off button.
I take it your smart TV doesn't. That's not one of the Android TV ones, is it?
It is Android TV. It's shit.
Is it really? Because one of my mates has got a couple of Sony TVs with Android TV, and he says it's snappy as fuck.
No, it's shit.
Oh, there you go.
It's better. It was terrible. And then we found there was an update for it. We downloaded the update, and it got bearable.
Oh, there you go.
So it's
when you have to update your TV to make it usable.
Yeah. When was that a thing? When was the issue? The remote's a bit delayed. Update the software on your TV and the remote runs faster. Why is that a thing? Why is that a thing? Why in the 1970s they had infrared remotes that could do this instantly?
When it's faster for you to walk over to the telly and change the input yourself and use the remote, you got a problem.
Yeah. Why hasn't it got an off switch? It hasn't. I can't find it. If it has, the off switch is you unplug it. So you can put it to standby. That's why is this a thing? I mean, I remember back in the days you switch TV on and it would come on.
Yeah.
Now it's like you switch it on, you've got to wait for it to boot the operating system. Why is the TV got
wait for it to warm up? Wait for it to boot.
Yeah. When my TV's got a risk of having a blue screen of death, quite frankly, I don't give a shit anymore. I just want a TV.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'd rather have it, right?
Mm.
Have a TV that has, preview built in. Again, you can do it via hardware. You don't need any stupid software.
Mm-hmm.
Have that built in. That's fine. And then perhaps what we could have is a little box. And that box has your Netflix, your Amazon, all the other bits.
That's what I do. That's what we do.
Plug it in. Go to the box. Hey, there you go.
That's what we do. That's what I would prefer to do, because at least I know then that if the box is slow because of updates or whatever, I can just bin off the box and buy the new one. Whereas if you buy a smart TV, the hardware is usually Billy Bob basic anyway, because they're trying to cut corners everywhere they can. Once you get a few updates, it runs like ass anyway. Like, it's even worse than it was to start with. Certain TVs don't get updates, so you end up with massive security holes in your network anyway. It's a stupid fucking design. And then it's like, well, if it's running like shit, just go out and get, as you say, a little tiny box that you can do all that stuff on anyway. This is considerably faster. But if I want to buy just a dumb screen that lets me switch between inputs, I either have to now pay over the odds for it, or just be willing to have a shit device. Because now it's like, well, if you want a dumb screen, it's going to be like some Billy Bob off the floor at the back of the factory screen from China.
Yeah.
you know, with crap blacks, crap colours, but it's a dumb TV. So, but all I want's a screen so that I can plug my devices into it. I don't want a smart TV. It's not about, for me, it wasn't, I don't want a smart TV because of, you know, privacy concerns. It's just because they're shit.
What I'd be more tempted to do, because I mean, if you want, it depends if you want a really big screen. If you're not worried about having a big screen, I just buy a monitor.
That's what I did. Two of my, I suppose, TVs in my house. So I've got two 32-inch monitors in the house.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I just plug speakers into an HDMI splitter.
Yeah, plug a monitor in and put in a little Raspberry Pi underneath with what's it, XMBC? Was it XMBC or
XBMC? Kodi.
XBMC, that's it, Kodi. Plug a Raspberry Pi. Hey, there you go. You got the smart function if you want it, or you know what, you can just watch fucking TV.
Yep, and that's what we did in my house for the longest time.
That's what it should be. That's how it should be. Not all this. I hate smart TVs. I hate a lot of smart devices.
Me too.
The other day, you know, who needs a smart fridge? Really?
Yeah, I know.
Do you really need a
Why does
fridge?
everything need to have a smart feature on it? I don't mind smart speakers to a degree. No. We've already had this discussion. I hate the Amazon ones because you have to use an app if you don't want to talk to them. The Google ones, you can get them for 25 quid. The sound quality is all right. You can turn off the microphone. Sarcastic air quotes, turn off the microphone. But you can use the option of casting your audio. So, like, let's say you're listening to Spotify, Google Music, or something else, or off your home server. Hit the cast button, and it will say, "I will now play the music in every room you have a smart speaker in sync." And I'm like, fan-fucking-tastic. So now I can walk around my house and listen to my book.
I can also see a certain like. My advice is things like smart lights, you know, be able to say, hey, actually, I can't see where I'm going. Can you turn the lights on, please? And it'll just turn some lights on for you.
Yeah.
Well, you know, set on times. Even like smart thermostats, I get those because they can be intelligent. They can like monitor your day and you can set more advanced timing stuff and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
But that's adding features that actually make the thing better.
Mm-hmm.
But there's adding features that don't really add things. Being able to put a shopping list on your fridge, really, what use is that? You know, what benefit do you have? If it's my theory is this: what is the alternative? The alternative is just having a pen and a bit of paper next to your fridge. And it's quicker to write it down than it is to go in a menu, press a button, or something. Use a bit of paper.
If it's more faff to use the smart device, then the smart device isn't worth it.
Yeah, I mean, I saw someone advertised I love the terminology here, a wireless kettle. I love the terminology. It's wired kettle with wireless, which connects to your Wi-Fi.
Why?
Apparently,
to boil when I.
So you could tell it. You connect it with the app, and then you tell it to start boiling the water, and then it tells you when it's finished.
So, as opposed to, I fancy a cup of tea. My cup is right near my tea and sugar and all that is right near the kettle.
Which I've got to go to anyway to have
exactly.
The cup of tea.
I could do with taking a slash whilst I'm at it, so I'm going to walk downstairs. As I walk through the kitchen, I'm going to flick the switch on the kettle. I'm going to go take a piss. I'm going to wash my hands. I'm going to come back and make myself a cup of tea.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to pour it because it had been boiled by then, and I'm going to fuck off back upstairs and do it.
Because you know exactly what's going to happen is you're going to start boiling. It's going to come back saying you're getting no water in this. You better come put some water in. Well, how fucking good is that?
Now I'm going to have to go downstairs to where the kettle is. It's like, why doesn't it fill itself, Ram?
Ironically, you can get plumbed in hot water supplies that have permanent hot water.
Ugh. God.
They've been around for a long time.
Is it smart though? Can I email it before I get home? Can I open an app on my phone and say like, hey, can you boil a kettle before I get home? I know some people are really into that. It's the same with smart lights. I get what you were saying, but there's a light switch by my fucking front door, right? And one of my mates is like, that's great because the lights are on when I come home, as opposed to what, you unlock the front door, you open the door and flick the switch. I was like, I've never lived in a house with a fucking light switch aimed by the front door.
See, ours is actually a bit of a distance away from the front door, so you switch off. You'd have to sort of like try and avoid tripping over some dog-related equipment on the way to the front door. and have to sort of feel your way. Like it's like walking through a jungle in the middle of the night.
That's Crystal Maze, mate. You're doing a Crystal Maze obstacle course.
Yeah, it is basically. So be able to say, "Hey, Alexa, switch the lights off in 30 seconds." No, don't do that. Go back to sleep. Go back to sleep.
Go back to sleep. Yes.
Yeah, I mean that I can now say benefits stash. I can see that, and just sort of like when you're in the middle of the night and you're dark and you're crying, you're trying. It's like, no, I'm not gonna. Switch the lights so I can.
He means me, and it starts fucking.
yeah. So I could sort of see something. I mean, there are certain smart devices I can see actually having some degree of help and use, but there are a lot which I think.
It's just fact. It's just complete bollocks. It's a marketing tactic. Yeah. It's the same with this whole privacy thing with the Facebook accounts in VR. I'm not particularly bothered. I don't like it because I don't really like Facebook. Like, I don't see much of a point in Facebook. It's an annoying website to me.
I don't like Facebook. I don't use Facebook.
But I've now got an account so that I can use VR. I guess I can shitpost loads if I want.
Yeah, you could.
But then if I shitpost on Facebook, they've told me that I could lose access to my my Oculus library. So
just can you like set your VR just to post for you?
They probably will. Skazz is playing random anime porn game.
Yeah. When I first signed up to Netflix, you could sign up to Netflix via a Facebook account, and I thought, that'd probably be quicker. I did that biggest mistake ever.
Yeah, because does it not post when you're watching like new shows?
Every single time you watch something, it posts it to your Facebook page.
I remember when I think it was the PlayStation did that as well. So like every time you unlocked a trophy and stuff like that, the PS3 would like fucking put a link on Facebook that you've done something, or hey, he's unlocked an achievement on the Xbox, and it's there. It's like, stop doing this. It's not interesting. It's not useful. It serves no purpose other than to piss everyone off.
I'm sure it sounds such a good idea for the marketing team when they sat down and thought that. That's probably a brilliant idea.
Mm-hmm.
And then no one said, I said, actually, guys, just this is going to be a picture here. When all your mates are doing this as well, and you're just going to go through, you're just going to see hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of posts. Let
me just. I'm just going to search. I'm probably going to fuck up the podcast now. You're going to see my porn searches. So 1 second. I'm going to go to my Facebook account because I actually made a post about the VR.
Yeah.
Let's see. Because I posted it the day that I signed into my Facebook, and I linked my Facebook and my Oculus account. Was it after I got drunk? No, I think it was before I got drunk. Was it? There we go. Most epic. I have now linked my Facebook account and my Oculus VR account because the Zuck says I must. And I must use my IRL name because reasons. Now Facebook and the Zuck can follow everything I do on the interwebs and in virtual reality. Just in case anybody is curious, my VR porn habits are as follows. Honda, Kawasaki, occasionally human things when I can pull myself away from motorcycles, Dean guitars, the Dean ML and Razorback are, oh my god, BC Rich guitars, the Warlock and the Stealth make me need clean shorts. That is all. See you in VR.
Yeah. You see, my porn would be the pig site, the sheep.com.
Yeah, I was like using your fucking fucking headset browser. Pornhub.com/rant nerds. I was tempted to make a rant nerds Pornhub account.
Do it.
Just for the lols.
I signed us up to Library, LBRY.
Yeah, I've got an account there too.
I signed us up to that because I thought as a backup to YouTube, and it's been syncing now for 2 weeks. I thought, why isn't this done anything? I looked, they don't even sync your channel unless you've got at least 100 subscribers.
Oh.
And gets better than that. They won't sync any video longer than an hour unless you've got 1,000 subscribers.
Oh.
And it gets better than that. They won't sync any videos at all over 2 hours. So it's like, well, we ain't got 100 subscribers, so we ain't going to sync at all. Even if we reach 100 subscribers, most of our videos are over an hour, so most of everything. And if we get 1,000 subscribers, a lot of videos over 2 hours, so most of it won't go on there. So
there you go.
We have got a BitChute account as well, but BitChute their software is buggered, and that has been syncing up the site since December last year. And again, it's a case of do I want to sit down and spend hours uploading every single video to BitChute again? I can't, that's currently sort of the free backup sites. So yeah, go on Pornhub. Pornhub can sync to the YouTube account. Download it.
That'd be fantastic.
Yeah,
right.
Go for it.
Does Restream have a Pornhub option? Because they do. I'm sure they have live streams on Pornhub. We've got to do it.
Let's see.
It's the only platform. It's the only platform we can't get banned on. Because you'll be like, hang on, what did we say that got us banned from Pornhub? There's a video over there that says, "Please fuck me, daddy."
Yeah, lack of porn.
Oh, there you go.
Well,
what?
they haven't got a Pornhub thing. However, you can put custom details in. So if Pornhub does allow streaming, then in theory,
we're there.
We can put some custom details in.
Starting next week. Rant Nerds on Pornhub.
Yay.
I'm doing it, Ram. Now you've given me permission. I'm using the Rant Nerd email address.
That's fine, yeah.
I'm using the company account. Where's my card?
Yeah. I'm gonna now we've got a proper domain name. I'm going to set you up with an email address for us.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, and then that's another one to ignore.
That's it. Where's it going? Oh, it instantly goes into the bin.
Yeah. It goes for a female forwarding site to junk at rant.
Don't give a fuck.
Yeah. So there will be now I've got our new domain. I will set up a proper email, which you'll be able to email us on. Wouldn't that be cool?
Fantastic.
Yay. So, anyway, Skazz, it's now been. Do you know what? We finished talking about games about an hour and a half ago.
Yeah, my food's cold too. I've got to become a fat bastard and weigh in.
Is it a tinfoil tub or plastic tub?
It's tinfoil, but it's not particularly warm anymore. I don't actually know what's in it.
I'll say.
Just quickly before we finish the podcast, what have we got?
Well, before you open it, can I have a guess?
Go on.
So what can at least narrow it down for me? Like, what was it? Was it Chinese?
I believe it's Chinese.
Chinese.
Don't say it. He's guessing.
I reckon you've got a house special chow mein in there.
Inky, what is this?
Chili fried buttered beef with egg fried rice.
Good choice.
Yeah, chili beef majig and rice.
Do you know what? That's my second favorite Chinese crispy chili beef.
That looks and smells fantastic.
I tend to have I put a plain rice rather than egg fried rice.
See, here's the trick. When I do my next, let's put it this way. I know I said that I'm going to be a good boy, but I'm a fat bastard at heart. All right. When my weigh-in, you're going to look at it. I'm going to do the weigh-in later. It's going to be like, holy shit, mate! You put on like fucking 10 kilos. I'm just sat there gorging on fucking cake, and that smells really good. I'm putting on weight just thinking about it.
There you go. Right, so before Skazz stuffs his face, let's finish ourselves off. So, yeah, got to finish ourselves off. Phil watching on the TheSuffolkRam.
Skazz.
So you can join us for our next podcast on October the 24th. 2020 will be GMT +1 still, so 21:30. We are also do a game night every Tuesday, approximately 8 to 8:30. That's every Tuesday. You can watch on the individual channels, which is the twitch.tv/TheSuffolkRam or
twitch.tv/Skazz,
which is
SK4ZZI0US.
Thank you, because you had to be awkward.
All right.
Mine's how it's spelled. I was easy. I don't know what the leaked version of TheSuffolkRam would be.
I'll sort it out for you.
Thank you. So you join us that. I'll say we're trying Among Us this week.
Yep.
Play. Although by the time the audio is here, we've already played the first session of that. You can also come join us if you want to. We're planning on a Halloween stream, are we not?
Yes.
Yes, which conveniently is on the 31st.
There you go.
It's the first time it's come up on the actual Halloween night.
Dun, dun, dun.
We're going to be hopefully streaming, if all goes well, a VR game. Co-op. Yeah, co-op. We're going to be playing Killing Floor Incursion co-op. Single player.
I'm proud
Not
of
single
this.
player, co-op.
Yes.
Co-op story mode. That's what I was trying to get at. You can see us on YouTube, youtube.com/randnerds. You can see us on Twitch, twitch.tv/randnerds, or visit us on the website, randnerds.co.uk. And we look forward to seeing you at some point or in the future. So until then, guys, see you later.